Hello, savages. What is going on? Sorry, I thought I was on. I started chatting, and then I was thinking, I'm not live. StreamYard, first time using it, so yeah, at least I made it. Get that kettle on, George. Hey, let's start taking bets. Let's start taking bets on who it is. First of all, hope you're all well. Hope you're good. Talk to me. What is going on? What's the word on the street? We are live. I should have rang Calvin for that. I should have rang Cal and gone, Cal, do your impression. You know, like the Let's Get Ready to Rumble bloke. Cal can start with, we are live. What is going on? Hello, Vegan Kaz. What is going on? Does this sound good? I really wanted to get some salted popcorn for this, but I know that you'll hear a lot of the chewing. So I thought I better not eat popcorn. Yes, Chris, what is happening? The mystery guest is coming very, very soon. I've upped my game, Laura. I've upped the game. We've gone on the laptop. We've got the mic rather than piss around with the little mic and the battery running out and stuff. Caroline in the house. Sabby Coops in the house. Do Schneider in the house. What is happening? Beautiful. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't know this geezer. He could come on here and just be like, ha, I'm only joking. You are ridiculous. You are a misinformer. You are a utilitarian. I don't think he will. I think he'll be good. But I have got a backup. If this goes to pot, then we have got a special guest. He might be in the comments. Right then, a new guest has entered, and I'm going to. Has anyone had a problem with StreamYard before?
Because it's got to pass data also to YouTube, hasn't it? So it's like an extra step. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not sure how it works.
Should we try and refresh, mate? Should we try and refresh?
Well, like a new link.
Maybe this is all part of the plan. Maybe this is just the suspense.
Yeah.
Ox said suspense. Looks like we're back. Okay, we might be back. I think what it is, mate, you've come in. You're in the sticks, aren't you? You've come in, and all of a sudden it's there we go. Alex
I'm in the
A
sticks.
in the building.
Kind
of. From a different mother. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're good.
To come in before I start speaking.
We'll give it 5 minutes, mate. We'll just have a little warm up. Testing. It's really hot, man. I'm gonna open the window, mate. 2 seconds.
Yeah, I didn't have to shut my window and keep it open because roasting.
Yeah, okay. So
we need aircon in the UK. Sorry.
We had 50 and then it dropped down to 20 and now everyone's coming back, I think. So, yeah, we'll just let it tot up, mate. And
what were people saying? There was issues with the like sound or some kind of
yeah, I think it just, when you came in, mate, I think it just gave us a nudge and then it's it sorted itself out, yeah.
Cool.
I'm in Cliff's bedroom. How nice is that little spot, Cliff?
Are you actually in his bedroom?
Nah, Cliff stayed here. Cliff come and visited the weekend, and yeah, I'm just in his little spot. Yeah, we'll just give it a few minutes, mate. Thanks everyone for being patient and sorry for the suspense. I mean, John will reveal all and introduce himself very shortly, but just give it a little while.
I'm not here to gossip though, so don't get me wrong. I'm not here to start something.
I think you are, John. I think you're here to start. No, I'm not joking. Now,
little old ladies in the coffee shop.
Can you just confirm to the nasty mob that I haven't paid you, I haven't reached out to you, I don't know who you are.
Some weird guy came up to me like a week ago and was asking me if I wanted to do something, if you'd pay me, because I'm a pretty good actor and stuff. So And I thought, well, I haven't been at work for a while, so it's a good opportunity. And
Don't reveal
Yeah.
the amount, because that'll give away how much I earn
yeah,
from my
definitely pay me like 10 grand to do this, Jake.
my 500 view videos, mate. It'll give it away. So,
I don't know why people think that. It's just paranoid. It's like confirmation bias. They want it to be true.
yeah,
Like-
mate, I thought I'd heard it all. The thing is, I thought they would be joking when they said that, but they're clearly not. Apparently, I've been
Friends
on the
or
hunt.
existence.
What was the word? I've created an actor. I've created someone to come and spout rubbish. Like, ain't got
Crisis
anything
actor.
to
I'm a crisis actor.
do.
Sorry.
Paid opposition. But so yeah, when I did the last video, I said it was going to be the last one I ever did on this mob. But you soon popped up, mate. I think it was
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, 4 or 5 days after, was it? I can't remember when I posted that video.
Yeah.
A couple of days after, anyway. And you said that you were part of this clan, somewhat. I don't know how deep you were involved.
Yeah, I was in it for a few months.
Introduce yourself, John.
2024-ish.
Tell us about yourself, man, and maybe delve into, how you came about this mob and what happened at the start.
So basically, I've been vegan since I was like 18. Turned, vegan, animal rights, and I've always done stuff online, like comment section activism, talking to people. And then one day I came across someone part of this group. I didn't know they were part of the group then, because I didn't even know the group existed or the Leslie Cross definition or anything like that. But he was saying stuff that I agreed with, like deontological arguments, not just welfarist arguments, because he was in a post, and a person who was genuinely talking about like welfarism. So I agreed with it. I'm pretty sure this is how it went. I can't fully remember because it's a bit hazy, but
Where was this, John? Sorry, are we talking about YouTube, Instagram, Discord?
Oh, Instagram, yeah.
Okay.
That's where most things go down in I found in the like community. But yeah, I used to spend a lot of time on there, and basically invited me. Well, I DM'd him for a bit. We got on, and then invited me into the group, and then they taught me all about the history and stuff. And they also spoke about.
Sorry, mate. John, it's my fault, mate. I put this as 7:30, didn't I? And we've come early. Can we just delay that, mate? Sorry.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, sorry, mate. Completely. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, my fault, mate. That was. It's because we had problems earlier, so we tried to sort this out and we scheduled it earlier to 7:15 just to get it ready. And now it's ready. I completely forgot we were a bit early. John, forgive me, man.
It's cool.
So we'll just we're at the start anyway, mate. We'll just ask that again.
Yeah, we'll just
My bad.
play a game of poker or something first, and then
just
come back later.
twiddle your thumbs for a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that people are busy on a night and they would have set their alarm for 7:30. So while we're waiting, does anyone want to say anything about what's been going on? Or yeah, hey, that was AJ's fault. That was. I know you're watching, AJ. Admit it.
I thought we were saying no, Nate. I'm joking. Correction. We're at anti-correction here. Anti-correction.
We've got 4 minutes. I do apologise about that little mistake. Yeah, I mean, this whole thing just...
It was a bit funny, weren't it, trying to set it up? Like, because it needed a phone and, yeah.
Yeah, at least we're on. I'm just glad. I'd rather be early and making mistakes than not on at all. So,
still the same amount of people probably come because they'll get YouTube notifications from you going live anyway, I think. Like, if they've got your bell on.
Mate, everyone's come here to listen to you. So while we've got 3 minutes, I'll just run over my last few months. So basically, I was getting mob attacked by the mob. I can't remember when it was, probably a year back or 10 months or something like that. And it blew my head, and I started to look into it, and I started to think, what are these people on about, man? And although they've got some points that I agree with, their attitude, their demeanour, their energy, their level of obnoxiousness was just something I've never come across before. I thought that everyone was on the same side. I thought that, anyone who's speaking out, is respected. I respect anyone who speaks out, regardless of whether I agree with their methods or not. And I was a bit shocked. I looked into it. I had back and forths. I had debates. I read articles on it. eventually it got to the point where there was no winning with them. Like, it was just they couldn't accept what I was saying. So I blocked a few of them, and it died down for ages. In that period where it died down, a few girls actually were made cry. Amy, was it, in Australia? She got attacked. There was another couple of girls who got attacked, and other people. And I started seeing them pop up again. So this is where I looked into it again and had a couple more back and forths, and then it led to the video the other day. And it doesn't seem to be getting any better. So I'm thinking
There's more
this
people
will
now,
be
isn't
a
there?
way to kind of bury the hatchet and restore some confidence in people and let people know the truth, because nobody knows what the hell is going on inside those little weird walls apart from yourself. So that's where I am. This will be the last time I ever speak of it. I've tried my best to, talk to these people. I've offered them to chat. Only 2 of them have actually agreed to chat, and that didn't go down very well. But they just don't take no for an answer. They won't accept a disagreement. They can't. I just don't know what else to say. It just blows my head. So hopefully we can delve right into it. So they've grew apparently from 12 to 30.
Is anyone else got anything they want to share before we start? Like, just little stories how they were affected, or
Yeah, has
kind of
anyone been affected?
what they think about it all? Because some people are probably a bit afraid to say anything, that they'll get targeted again. Because you're just making like gaslighting.
So yeah, I was so glad when you dropped the email, mate, and I couldn't believe it, really. I thought, oh my god, like, I didn't think this would ever happen. But hopefully we can put it to bed.
We can hopefully resolve some things, try to understand each other's side a little bit more. It's my kind of goal.
I will just say, mate, sorry.
Yeah, that's all right.
I will just say, I was shocked at the very start. I didn't even know who David was, or David. Didn't know who he was at all. I just started getting attacks. But when I was messaging him, I was like, mate, who are you? Like, what is this? What are these attacks? And straight away, he kept attacking me personally. And I was like, what is all this about, man? Like, I haven't said anything that bad. I'm just asking questions. We've had a disagreement. He starts, insulting me and things like that. And I'm thinking, what is the matter with this?
It's a bit weird.
Bloke? Oh, he's a bit weird. And this is the attitude I've had off anyone I've come into contact with. They're just very, very hostile, and I don't get it. So
it's
maybe,
a meme. It's like a meme. It's like someone starts it and then it repeats. That's kind of like what it was like.
Yeah.
Like someone's behavior, and then if they've got the more influence than others, then you start kind of copying them subconsciously, or even consciously, and it seems as normal.
It's the same wording, mate, and it's really weird. I spoke to George about this in our chat last year, I think it was, and it's just really robotic.
Yeah, you feel like a robot too. That's what I felt like. Like, I didn't want to feel like that anymore either. It's not the only reason I went away and stopped doing it, but you really do feel like a robot, like a kind of like a part of a hive mind.
Wow.
Like, yeah.
It's incredible.
It's a bit weird. But yeah, the insults. There's some people who do it more than others. When back like 2 years ago, when I was in the clique, it wasn't as heavy, but it seems to be gotten worse now. Like, it's attracted more. It's like moths to the flame. Like, they see these type of people, and they kind of gang with them, and then they join. And there seems to be loads now. Like, I looked on George Martin's store, the block list thing, and there's so many. Like, there's so many now. Like that.
It's a shame, man. It's a shame, and like people that I used to speak to have kind of fell into it as well, which is strange. But yeah, it's let's get going, mate. I mean, it's 7:32 now, so we are past the time. I'll start again, John. Please introduce yourself and tell us where it started and how you ended up involved with this mob.
Yeah, so I'm no longer on social media anymore, but I've been vegan since 2020, and I've been doing like one-on-one animal rights conversations in social media, mainly Instagram. And I was doing that for a while. Probably not that good at it, to be honest, because I was in the beginning, but like everyone, I guess. But I saw someone in the comment section of someone's post, and they were basically critiquing. They were generally talking about like welfareism things rather than, let's just say, like animal rights deontology sort of thing. And I thought it was good what they were talking about. I was joining in the conversation because I also agreed with the point and that they were trying to make. And then he basically, talking the DMs, we were like speaking about the whole kind of aim of what we want for the animals type thing. And then he introduced me into like basically say, do you want to join this group? I think it'd be like-minded or whatever. And yeah, I joined the group not knowing what it was. And they then from the beginning, I want to say this, I picked up like toxic vibes, behavior from inside because it was in a little group. But then obviously seeing them comment and everything and how they acted inside, not everyone back then, but a lot of people, it was I'm not going to name names, by the way. So
in what way, mate? So what kind of toxicity did you come across?
Like, are we allowed to use bad language here? Or
Yeah.
Shit talking people, slandering people, like pushing this sort of us versus them mentality. Like I would say on top of that, like obsessive sort of behavior. And I don't know if this would class as toxic per se, but they would spend more time, it seemed, talking about like joking around and just entertaining themselves than really doing anything serious. And when it was what they thought was serious, talking about like the whole, oh, they're a utilitarian and this person and that person and whatnot, that was just like serious. But most of the time it was like from back then, just I don't know, I can't remember specifically, but just things that didn't matter and you're just joking around. Yet then, you know, they would critique people for doing things wrong and overly obsessing about that. So it's like, it didn't seem like they really cared about, well, as much or seriously enough about the cause. Because if you're critiquing people so heavily, and I'm not saying this for everyone, because I know a lot of people in that group do really care and they really think it's the right thing to do and everything, but it's not, it seemed like there wasn't really that connection of like, oh yeah, I ought to do this thing because it matters. If you know what I'm saying? It was like, oh, I was going to waste time here chatting crap about people and whatnot. And yeah, one of those people I remember would get a lot of crap was Cliff Grant, actually.
I'm not surprised,
Yeah. And they would say he's got a big ego and he's doing it for the followers and all the stuff you already say, but they would say that in there as well. And that's where it comes from, because it's said in there and it's repeated. And then you start to believe it. There's no really anything rational about it. It's just, oh, they've got loads of followers, therefore, and everyone's saying it, therefore they must be doing it just for the followers or something. I don't even know where it comes from. You just believe it because
that is interesting.
But then these people are generally nice people who really care, like Cliff. Like, it's like,
John, how many people were in this group, are in this group, or were in this group at the time?
Back then, it was like,
Don't say 12.
It was about that, and then it went to about 20, 25.
Yeah.
I think I got invited just after it started to grow, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, then some people came in there who weren't really in. I think they were kind of trying to have a look what it was about and see what these people who were, like you say, niggling on at people, why they were doing it. And they weren't really saying anything, but they were in the group. And I saw a few people like that from, I think one of them was from AV. I don't know though. They might have been actually there and like actually interested. But I think even back then, there were people who were like, yeah, this is kind of toxic and what's this about, right?
And
I picked up on that.
Can I just paint a picture of this inside people's head? You've got a geezer who stands on the streets of Belfast 5 days a week, if not 6 days a week, if I'm not correct.
Yeah.
In his own time, when he could be spending time with friends, family, chilling out, whatever, enjoying himself, he's on the streets talking to the public. He gets abused by the public. He's changing
They
people's
think this is
minds,
ego, though.
Actually, right.
They think this part is the ego.
With evidence. And then not only does he get attacked by the people who he speaks to, he gets attacked by people who are supposedly on his side and they want the best for these victims. Can you get your head around that?
Man. Yeah, they literally, like, they would say that is the ego. Him saying he does that, by him saying it, therefore he's got a big ego because he says he does it. But all he was trying to do, like any sane person would say, like, look, I'm doing this, actually doing something, and I actually care, and I'm showing that. And it's not about me, and it's not about that. It's just you're coming at me and saying these things, so it's like a defense. But then they would use that and say, oh, look, he's got a big ego. So it's kind of like, it's very narcissistic in a way, like reactionary, if you've ever heard of like reactionary abuse sort of thing, where they would say something, make them say something back, and then they would go, oh, look what he's saying. Oh, he's got a big ego. Oh, he's saying something horrible. And they would do that with his other things he'd say too. And it kind of misframe it. So it looked like, oh, look, Cliff's an asshole. But actually, they were the assholes. Not all of them, but a lot.
And how long would these attacks go on for, mate? So, like, someone would post a video. Would they post a video or a photo or a comment or something, and then they'd all just have their piece?
Oh, yeah, that's the other thing I wanted to talk about. So, yeah, that was the MO kind of operation, modus operandi. It's kind of like someone's going to drop a post. They see someone use the word pain, and that's it. That's the poster target because they use the word pain. You know, because if you say pain, apparently, therefore, you're a welfareist, which is ridiculous. But yeah, I used to believe that actually in the beginning. I don't know why, just because it seemed like it made sense. But anyway, so not to sidetrack, they would post something like someone else's post, share it into the chat, and then say stuff about it, chat about it, mostly chatting shit about it, and then jump on it like the dogpiling thing. That's where it comes from, or at least that's where it came from mainly when I was there. And I didn't actually like this. Like, I think I might have said once, like, yeah, we shouldn't do this. It's overwhelming for people. And imagine, like, you're there and loads and loads of people are coming in the comments. Like, imagine that. It's not nice. It's not. How are you supposed to have a conversation? Like, what is like 10 people? So, yeah, right from the beginning, like, I saw it as, and I did kind of join in at the beginning, but then I started questioning it. I was like, hold on, this ain't going to be effective because they're just going to not even listen. If there's like so many people, it's like if you've got a mob coming at you in the street, like, you're not going to listen to them, like, saying loads of what, you're just going to run away from them. Like, it's basic psychology, but yet they don't seem to really care about that. At least, I don't want to generalize, but they do seem to do that to themselves. They do seem to act the same ways. But yeah, if you really cared about spreading the message, then you wouldn't do that, because yeah, you look into psychology, and I mean, you don't even need to look into psychology. It's just like basic empathy, but they seem to lack that. But yeah, the post thing, jumping on people's posts, people's comment sections, there'll be a lot of screenshots. Then people would constantly post like arguments on the stories all day. You probably saw that already, but I think everyone knows that. But yeah, that would seem to be like the group habit. And yeah, there were a lot of group habits you kind of just joined in with. And for me, there was this vibe. I knew they attacked other people, and by attacked, I mean like harass and hypocrisy. Even if you're not doing it in a horrible way, it's not, you don't just go to somebody and go, oh, yeah, you're doing this wrong. You ask them, like, can I comment on like what I think? Like, this is good, but can I comment on like
simple? Simple.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm kind of going through a million different things that are connected, but I forgot what I was talking about now.
You're about to say, you know, about the posts and how long they'd last for, like, you know, like a typical attack. Like, what would they just say something and then move on, or would it just be constant, like, harassment kind of thing?
Yeah, it would be both, because it would be like, and that's what the conversations and DMs were like constantly going for like all day. And because of people from different areas of the world, from like South America, Netherlands, I think Ukraine, England, everywhere in that group, but mostly from South America, I think. And it would be constantly going because of the time zones, and you would get sucked into it. And there would always be these kind of things like, oh, there's this person now and they're saying this, and oh, they're such an idiot or whatever. And be some people doing that, and then some people just being rational about it, focusing on like the objective or whatever. But yeah, it would be a mix of that. like people focusing on the objective, like, oh, this is, you know, they're wrong for saying this, and there'd be people just calling them names and joking about it. And yeah, it would like overlapping, like one thing and then another thing and just overlapping, and you just get stuck in it. And I think that's a massive part of why you can't really rationally think, because it's just information overload. You're in this DM, it's popping up all the time, these DMs, because these people are so obsessive. And then it makes you kind of obsessive because you don't want to miss out on what's going on. So you're seeing the notifications, you're going in the DMs, and it's almost like a thrill as well. You get a thrill from it because you feel righteous. You feel like, oh, they're wrong, we're right. And then when you correct them or talk about the correct thing, you feel like, it's kind of like, in a way, when we talk about anti-vegans, you know, that kind of feeling you get. And we have to admit, there's a feeling to that. It's like, you know, they're idiots and like they're stupid or like this kind of thing. And it was like that, but like ramped up irrationally. Like when we do that with anti-vegans, it's rational, but then it was like an irrational version of that. Sorry if I'm like going all over the place.
No, mate.
It's just a lot.
It's bang on, mate. I can't. It's kind of like something that you experience in primary school, isn't it?
Yeah, that's actually what I wrote down in my notes, like playground.
I'm not even joking. I said primary school because even in high school, that shit doesn't happen. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It's mad. You don't want to name names, John, but was there a leader of any?
That's the complex thing. That's, I think, why they don't want to call themselves a cult. And I'm not going to use that word, but technically it means like when you are following a principle, doctrine, or a leader, like to the point of like it's like religious, and it's not just that, but it's kind of coercive in a way. And this group is definitely coercive through like harassment, right? But yeah, the leader wise, I would call it more like influence. There was people who had influence, and then people looked up to them. I looked up in a way to them because they kind of, the people who started this whole group out, and it's like, oh well, they started the whole group out kind of thing, so they know a lot more, and they'll be always sharing things about their knowledge, and you kind of see them as like this knowledgeable person. But yeah, it's not like they're forcing people, or they're kind of like, I'm the leader type thing. It's kind of more subtle, but everyone subconsciously has this feeling towards them, like a reverence in a way.
It's interesting you should say that about bigging themselves up, because someone told me a couple of weeks ago that one of them had messaged them to give them kind of like advice. And then within that advice, they started bigging themselves up, like, you know, I have been labelled as this. They've told me that I am one of the best. Something like that.
Really?
And
seriously?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's
and
pure
there's
narcissism,
a little hint of that I've heard off. Like I'll say this just joking.
They reveal themselves, don't they?
To my mates, I called myself the vegan final boss, like for a laugh. Like I'm joking. Do you know what I mean? Like these people actually say this, and I've heard a couple of people say, but that one stuck out in my mind from a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
What I don't get.
That confirms it. Then that confirms it.
Yeah. So how long were you part of this, John?
I don't know. Like all I know is a few months, because it, like, each day you're in it, it goes like a blur, and you don't really. It's not really like you're not really paying attention. It's kind of the same thing every day, so it's hard to me to really know how long I was there for. But I'll just say a few months. It might be more than that, but it was enough to be like fully understanding them and know what it's like to be part of them.
It's a good few months, isn't it, by the sounds of it. Caroline has said, does anyone think that they are from
Mars?
You know, inside, paid off, or is there anything dodgy going on, John, or do you think they are just?
I don't know.
Internally troubled, or does it
trouble definitely?
Because what I can't get, John, basically,
I'm suspicious about one of them, like a few of them. But
I've said before, like if you meet a vegan in the street or anywhere, you're like, oh my God, as if you're vegan or whatever. If you meet a vegan activist or someone who actually, does something towards activism, they are in the very, very, very smallest of minorities. And then you'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe you do that.
0.1% of the population.
So anyone who is actually doing that even if like I said, even if I disagree with what they're doing, like I don't know, smashing up supermarkets or something, or like ripping shelves down in the supermarket.
You're going to be really careful about how you critique them and what you say because there's so many little people. Is that what you mean? Like,
no, like if I met someone who was still doing something, I would still think they're an absolute legend. Like even if
that's what I mean. Yeah,
even if I was totally against their methods, I would be like, you are still an absolute legend in my book. But these people, they've got hatred.
Tell you not to do it.
They've got hatred. They don't just say that's wrong. They have got
Say don't
pure hatred to everyone. Like what is that all about?
I think it's like they tell you not to do the activism. Well, they'll say, "Oh no, we don't say that." Probably in response to me saying that, and anyone saying that. But that's the kind of thing they give you. It's like you're better off doing no activism than mentioning the word pain without mentioning exploitation or whatever, right? So I think it's like total projection for a lot of them, and I think, I said about the influence thing. There's some people who really have some issues with insecurity and feeling, kind of adequate, and maybe call it narcissism, and then that kind of spreads to everyone else. So I don't know if anyone's ever been in a group of people at school who were nasty when you were a kid, and you've got a few of them who are nasty, and then you start to pick up on the behaviors, even if you're not like that, without knowing it, because you're just around them. But yeah, so some of them are projecting, not all of them, but it comes from projection. I think that's what I think from what observations, because you're not doing it right or something. Well, they're not doing any activism, so when they tell you not to do it, it's because they don't want to see someone else doing it because that makes them feel bad because they're not doing it. I think that's the core of a lot of it.
It must be because they don't do anything. Like,
if you really cared, you'd do something.
Please, someone say in the chat if you have seen any of these people do anything. I haven't seen anything.
Yeah, people could have like no time or health issues or whatever, but like I have, and I haven't done street activism because of that yet, because of things. But you can do other things still, and also that doesn't mean you should go and critique other people who are doing it and then say they shouldn't be doing it. Like, why just not? Why do you have to do that? It's Anyway, yeah.
Incredible.
We're going to go around in circles of trying to understand it.
Yeah, we'll move on. So so you were part of this group. You've started to smell a bit of nastiness, and you've gone, right, I've had enough of this. What happened then? So I take it you've just left the group and you've stopped talking to these people.
I just left social media completely.
Okay.
Like it dissuaded me completely from even being on there for like 2 years. Yeah. That was the big reason why. Also, I watched something by Jaron Lanier about social media and like how echo chambers work online and how it's made for that to happen, like for fights to happen, for echo chambers, for like you to be addicted to it. And I was like, well, this is exactly what I'm experiencing. But the main reason I knew that what he was saying, this Jaron Lanier guy, was true, is because I'd experienced that amount of toxicity from being in this group. And that's what motivated me, like emotionally, to just leave it completely. So I could probably have done more activism, and I could have probably converted a lot of people if, after like sorting out my methodology and what I'm saying and not being like them. But I didn't, because I was so dissuaded, and other people have been dissuaded from going on social media because they exist on there and they know they're going to attack them, even if they block them. Because I was in there and I wanted to leave because of it. So what about the people who were? That's very suspicious to me, because it stops activists from posting as much or even being on social media at all. And social media is not really a good place. Half of it's not good, but we need to be on there. You know what I mean? Like, we need to.
Well, when you're in a group full of lunatics, I can imagine it's 10 times worse than it was. Just flicking through Instagram or TikTok or something. So, mate, you're not the first person to say that. Was it jealousy? You kind of touched on. I don't know if jealousy is the right word, or just
they want to play you down because they're down. It's like
that's it. Yeah, so bring others down to your level so that you don't feel inferior because you got low.
Not all of them again, but it seems to stem from a core of the group, and then the habit kind of mutates and takes on different forms and spreads like a meme. Not like a funny meme, but like a If anyone knows what meme, it's like a habit or an idea or some kind of belief that spreads from one person to another.
Mm.
And it's kind of like, when your parents condition you with something and then you have it, like, and then it spreads to your kids. It's kind of, that's a meme. So it's kind of like that. And you don't really know why you're doing it again.
Yeah.
But then some people do know why they're doing it, and they're doing it because projection, jealousy, they want to take you down a notch to their level.
Yeah, it's almost like the way I see it, especially lately, is, and George has just mentioned there about they don't have any problem with other forms of exploitation other than when you mention food, meat, eggs, and dairy. So what gets me is,
which are the
it
biggest
seems
ones
to me like it's like, oh, I know what veganism is. I know that it's a wide variety of things, but you people think that it's just about food. Now, what interests me is when you send proof of this, of you knowing that it's not just about food. Like, it's not rocket science. We know that it's wrong to use and exploit and abuse animals in all different forms. They just ignore what you've said. And it's like, no, you can't make claims such as, oh, you're a plant-based, you're spreading this, you're spreading that. When you give these people proof, they just ignore and divert. And I've noticed that with every single one of them. So it's like,
because it doesn't want to break their reality and their habits.
Yeah, they want to believe that you
change.
have got a lower level of
IQ.
knowledge than them. That's how it seems to me.
Righteousness,
Why do you think that is,
IQ,
Why
and
do you
knowledge.
think there's a focus on food?
So it's like they feel righteous. Some of them feel like they're more intellectually superior, like the leader, for example, quote unquote. I can put that in quotes because I said influence, so it's more like influence. But then a leader works through influence. So yeah, it's just not like a dictatorship where it's forced. Like, people imagine cults, they imagine like, those like weird hippie like people who go live on the land and are like forced to do things through like blackmail and whatever. And it's not like that. That's like the stereotypical version of a quote unquote cult. If you actually do some research into cults, like there's a massive there's like in the past few years, like probably since the internet started, it's mutated into a different form. It's not just a leader. You've got a leader, and then you've got like someone forcing it. It's like an idea more so, in an echo chamber. That's how online cults form now, more per se. And that's why a lot of people don't see them, because, there's no leader, so it can't be a cult or something. And yeah, I don't want to use that word cult because it's triggering, because if you tell someone they're in a cult, it's like, I'm not, but in that group, it's like, it's more of like a bandwagon effect. But yeah, I forgot what I was talking about now, because
no, mate,
I
it's
do
good.
this. I've
got a million questions. When you slow down, mate, I've got a million questions. They repeat the doctrine. Now, I don't know any vegan that doesn't know what veganism is. They might not get it word for word correct, but they know that it's quite simple to understand that animals should be left alone. They're not ours. They shouldn't be enslaved. They shouldn't be violated in any way. So this is just common sense. Like, I could ring up my niece now. I could ring up my little niece and I could say, what do you think that what I stand for? And she'd probably say, vegan, leave animals alone. What do you mean, leave them alone? Don't do this and don't do that. So it's a very simple concept. Like, it's so simple to understand. Even people who talk about food and who are just plant-based and they're not quite vegan, they're just plant-based. Even these people, they will understand the truth, really. They might just use excuses such as, I need my iron, and they'll relate.
That's weakness of character. That's nothing to do with not understanding.
Yeah, so
there's a difference between
there's a difference between people using excuses and people not understanding what it is. So my question is, why do they keep repeating this blatantly obvious definition, mate? Do you know?
Because you when you come into the group, you're taught that, like, or they teach you online that this is the original definition, and this is part of the vegan society, and these are people who built the vegan society, and Leslie Cross was one of them, right? So therefore it must be true. It's kind of this weird, like, just because someone said it back then and they created it, therefore they have the right to this definition. And you think that you're being in this group, well, I can only speak for myself and maybe some others I knew, but by repeating this definition, you think that suddenly they're going to realize, like, oh yeah, these people, they created this movement back then, and now we're off track. So because we're quote unquote off track, which we're not, it's just, and even the people posting plant-based recipes online call themselves vegan, they're not either. Actually, they're using the word vegan correctly, and that's controversial, but actually it's not. And I want to get into that in a bit, but that's really going to trigger them, because their whole MO is veganism is the doctrine that man should not exploit animals. So when I say that's not the right one,
I tried to explain to my dad the other day, because my dad's got this like fetish with fishing, and he keeps talking about fishing, and I'm like, look, I'm not coming fishing. Yeah, but they have good hooks. They really nice
plastic
soft
ones.
yeah, apparently like these nice hooks, and I
I didn't
to
know about that
explain to
until
him.
you spoke about it.
Incredible,
I
yeah.
didn't
They
even
got
know
like
that was a
nice
thing.
hooks now. So obviously, I gave the
God.
talk. You know, I gave the talk that was needed there, and I said, actually, I'm going to try this, and I've got this on camera, and I've gone, right, Dad, veganism is the doctrine that man should live. And I gave him the talk, and he looked at me like I was crazy. And I said it again, and I kept repeating it and repeating it, and in the end, he didn't know what to say. Then I said, knowing what I do and what I've posted in the past, do you think that is going to stop you fishing and make you understand that fish are not yours? Or do you think that repeating the doctrine is going to have more of an effect?
It's like when you try and teach kids like something, and they just, you know, like when parents try and teach a kids like, oh, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do it, and then they just do the opposite, or they
It's
just
like
don't understand at all.
it's like saying to an English person, speak Chinese. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's not going to work. It doesn't
can't
work.
teach someone by telling. That's operant conditioning. Like if you're trying to just keep telling someone something, you're conditioning them. You're not actually speaking to them in like a Socratic method, trying to understand what they understand and why they see things a certain way, and then lead them to why it's wrong to violate another.
Yeah.
You know, like why, and that comes down to what you were just saying a bit ago, how you don't need this doctrine. We don't need more doctrines. We just need to take away the doctrines. Like
John,
the doctrines that people have had in society, that's what's blocking them from understanding this definition or whatever, or the meaning of that.
John, not only was I vegan, I was active without knowing this definition. And then they go,
Yeah,
"Oh,
same, same.
how did you know what it was?" Well, it's not rocket science, is it? It's common sense just to leave them alone. Yeah, but
Yeah,
you
and you
needed
remember
to
when I was
know.
saying
I didn't
how
need
I
to
was
know.
recruited?
I didn't need to know. And I can ring up probably 10 people now and ask them, "Do you know?" And they'd probably get the wording wrong, or they'd say something different. But guess what? All 10 will be leaving animals alone.
Yeah,
At what point did you
I knew
realise
that.
that repeating this bullshit wasn't going to do anything, and you thought, you know what, I'm going to do what we know works and break free from this clan?
So it was. I can't give time frames again because it's like a blur. But after being with them for a while and for a few months, with them in the group, doing what they do, believing in what they believe. So I mean with them, right? Not like with the people and agreement, because a lot of them are nasty and I'm like, I don't want to be associated with you really, but kind of want to do this thing. So I got to kind of associate myself with them. So I was in there. That's why I kind of put myself in there. But when I started questioning it is when I took breaks off of social media. Like I took breaks because I felt like, you know, how when you're on there for a long time, you feel like your brain feels like it's melting.
Yeah,
And you just want to.
every day.
I was like that, but it was like maxed out to like 100, that feeling. So I'd leave and then I would start thinking about it all because it was always going around in my head because I was always in that group. So then I started to question it because there's room in my mind for it now to question it rationally. Yeah, and actually, this is what I suggest. If you're in this group and you really honestly care about the animals, then you will do this. Like if you do, because you can't think clearly while you're on social media in one of these groups, posting the same things all the time. It puts you in an automatic state, and you can't think in an automatic state, not fully. Things may make sense, like you have the feeling of making sense, but that's how belief systems enter that are not true because they feel like they make sense. But then once you get out, you can apply your rational thinking with your own volition, with your own will, where you wouldn't be able to before. So I started doing that, and I was like thinking about it. I was like, oh, this doesn't really make sense. As in, like, why telling people all of the things that you say about it, like, it makes no sense. I was thinking the same things. but I was still a little bit sucked into it because probably because I felt like I needed to do something about it, and I didn't know what else to do. It's just something I just knew. So I went back on there, kept doing it, repeating the definition and stuff, because you feel like it's like a purpose in a way. Like you're actually doing something good. But yeah, it took me, I don't know, a few times, a few breaks off of social media, maybe like a week break, a few days break, and just spread out here and there. And eventually I was just like, yeah, I'm quitting for good. Then after I quit for good, then I started realizing fully about it. And I came to the conclusion, which I was already arriving at, that you don't need to understand a doctrine. All you need to do is apply your empathy, your compassion, your concern, put yourself in their place, and then automatically what comes out of that through basic reasoning is that you shouldn't violate them, and it all concludes to the same thing, like that you shouldn't exploit them, because yeah, you start to realize that that's where everyone like really has a natural sense of compassion and empathy from. They're just blocking it out, maybe because of societal condition and stuff. And what we really need to do, this is what I realized, is remove the conditioning and let the natural compassion, reasoning, which is uninterrupted by logical fallacies, cognitive fallacies, just let it take place. So we need to undo all the fallacies in our mind, and then we'll just automatically arrive if we apply that to thinking about animals and what they're going through, or any sentient being, because that's what it's about, right? That sentience. And yeah, so it took me only a few weeks probably to really get to that conclusion, realize how ridiculous it was, and just that people don't listen to you when you keep repeating something to them, the same thing. They actually ignore it. You switch off. Like if I kept telling you something like, oh yeah, you need to buy chairs from IKEA, you need to buy chairs from IKEA, I know it's really random, but and I kept saying that to you, you're just gonna be like, just shut up. Yeah. I don't want to hear it anymore. You want me to buy chairs from IKEA, I get it, but why? And yeah, it's just a psychological thing. The more you repeat something to someone, and it doesn't really hold any value to them, because one, they already understand it. Two, it doesn't make sense that you're saying it to them, because you show that you already understand it. You know, like you showed them the proof or whatever, and they still didn't listen. And then the third thing is like, well, you just don't like the feeling of someone coming at you, so you're just going to block it out. So everything that they're doing, or most of them are doing, is it's like contradictory to what they want to achieve, because
100%,
they don't.
100%, man.
So I realized all this, and yeah, this is what I would suggest everyone in that group. Just you're not gonna miss out on helping the animals if you take a week off, 2 weeks off of social media, or even a few days. But if you do that, then you can think clearly. And I'm not trying to make you seem like stupid or anything. I'm not trying to say that. That's not the case. Even really intelligent people can be confused by something. So yeah, if you just take a few days off, a week, and just think about it clearly, I've removed from that group. And you don't have to think, oh, they're bad. I'm not saying think that they're bad, but just if you really want to question your stance and what you form, what you believe, then you need to do it in a like a clean environment, clean from like other influence, out of the echo chamber. And this is funny, Jake, because I see them commenting saying that we're like, oh no, they're part of the echo chamber, not us. So yeah, being in an echo chamber and knowing you're in an echo chamber, but just ignoring it it's not healthy. And then calling everyone else, saying they're in an echo chamber when they're not. It's just pure projection. So yeah, the echo chamber thing is the main reason why you can't get through to those people, because it's something called the mere exposure effect and the bandwagon effect. Mere exposure effect is when you keep hearing something over and over again, your subconscious mind starts to think it's true. The bandwagon effect is when loads of people are saying it, your mind thinks it's true, because it's like it's instinctual in our kind of social instincts. We start to go along with the crowd, and if you don't know that you're doing that, then it happens automatically. And yeah, so, and a lot of people don't really realize it's happening.
Yeah, the confusion seems to be quite apparent to me. Confusion, almost like, when when your mind plays tricks on you, and I mean, your brain is powerful, isn't it? Your mind is powerful.
Yeah,
You
really, really
think too
powerful.
deeply, and then it gets worse and worse, and you think this and you think that, and your mind just takes you away from the reality. And I think
because you're in
with
your
these
head,
people,
pure
I think it's like
intellectual.
a rabbit hole. If they are legit, I mean, they could just be disrupting, but if they are legit, I think they've gone so far down the rabbit hole. The fight is that big. They need someone to blame, and they need something to blame, because it's not happening fast, or
scapegoating.
yeah, and it's
That's what
like
it is.
it's laser focused on one thing. That's got to be the problem. That is the problem. When actually, no, what they're pointing at is actually the solution, and this has been proved over and over again. Is it the best? I don't know. Maybe in the future we'll have studies to show what is actually the most effective thing.
But the thing is, we
But
don't need to
now,
know that. We just need to have empathy, like putting ourselves in the position of other people. We know what it's like for some Christian shouting Bible stuff on the street to them. We just don't listen to them. It's basic. We understand it already. So we don't have to wait for that. But that would be, people looking into psychology, science and stuff is important, because if you want to be in a movement, you want to convince people, you need to understand human psychology pretty well. But it's just basic intuition. But yeah, a lot of them do seem to lack empathy. Not saying that they're psychopaths or something, but like a cognitive version of it.
Mate,
it's like they're so focused on it that they can't put themselves in the position of others.
Yeah,
which is kind of ironic, isn't it? Because they're all about that. They're all about like.
Mate, absolutely. Was there anyone else in there, mate, that agreed with you, or did you talk to anyone and be like, "What are they on about?" kind of thing? Was there someone else?
Yeah.
Or was it? Yeah.
I don't really speak too much on that because it could be personal, but there was, and this person I was connected to while I was taking breaks on social media, I was talking to them on like private, like just on Messenger, whatever.
Did they?
And I was saying like the group's like hive-minded. It's like something about it, and they agreed with me, but I think they're still there.
Oh, they didn't make it,
which is disappointing. Yeah, but I will say to that person, like, hopefully you're listening to me, and like, we had a lot of like conversations, and I did disappear off the map because I took a break off everything. Like, I had to literally. There's other things going on in my life, but I had to totally remove myself from social media to think clearly. Because I wasn't in a good mind state already. And this is the thing. I was already kind of traumatized from seeing everything online. My life wasn't that good. And all the things compile together. And it has this effect where you are, and I think this has happened with a lot of them, where you just run off of emotion more than reason. And not saying emotion's bad, but it should work with it. But yeah, this person I did have a contact with, but they weren't ever. They're nice, like they're a good person, genuine person. So this is a thing. Not all of them are horrible. It's just it's a kind of group mentality which kind of takes over, herd mentality, and so yeah. I don't know
the amount of time and effort wasted that you've seen, that we've all seen.
Yeah.
What do you think about where that could have been redirected in the last year or two, or maybe 3 years? Is it like, you imagine the amount of time and hassle and editing and bickering and attacking and liking and commenting? Imagine if that would have been redirected into what
their tactics
people they're attacking are doing. Do you know what I mean?
Maybe not with their tactics totally, because jumping like dogpiling on people, like I said, it makes people want to like not listen to you. But if they did it still strategically the way they do, but like, and not have so many people go in and not have this fake like ratio thing they do where people can see through it. They can see, oh, all these people are liking the same thing. It's just and it gives this sense of fakeness. If they didn't do that, and then if they spoke about just generally normal activism with people, like kind of like AV style, because that's the kind of common one coming about now, because people are realizing that's really good to do, like kind of Socratic questioning, starting off with Do you think we should respect animals? Can you respect animals while also exploiting them? You know what I'm talking about, right? That kind of thing online. Yeah, you might not be able to go out and do stuff. That's probably better. But if you can't, like most of them probably can't or don't want to because they've got social anxiety or they just have some kind of issue, whatever, then yeah, just do. I think if they did that instead, then we probably would have thousands more animal rights activists, I think.
And
Because
thousands more
they've
vegans
affected
as well.
thousands of people. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like just imagine, just you got 40 disciples or whatever. It could be 40 videos per day, 40 a day times 7,
I thought there was only 12
280 a week,
disciples.
1,000 videos a month. At the very, very least, we'd have an extra 1,000 videos a month. And it's a shame.
Yeah.
It really is a shame.
But the thing is with that, I don't think it would be the way they're operating, like the echo chamber likeness. That's how non-vegans or anti-vegans maybe want to see vegans. They want to see like, oh, you're in an echo chamber. And that's not a good look and it's not a good way to approach people. So that would have to be gone. So that whole thing essentially is not good, even for anything, because it's like telling people and it's repeating things and you look like you're like a robot. Again, you know how people call people NPCs? It's like that. It's like that's how you look to people. And there's something in rhetoric called ethos. I don't know if you've looked into rhetoric, Jake, but like classic
not really,
rhetoric.
I haven't, no.
Yeah. It's like how you speak to someone, how you convince them of something, like what's good, what's kind of the principles that what works. And it's basic rhetoric that I understand. I don't get like the complex stuff, but there's 3 things: is ethos, logos, and pathos. Ethos is like how your character presents to people. People ain't gonna listen to you if they see you as having a dodgy character or being unvirtuous in some way, and being repetitive and like this is seen as unvirtuous and like not very something you'd want to listen to someone like that.
He's not relatable, is it? No one can relate to that.
No, only people who are like that, and that's why they join, I think. But yeah, not trying to overgeneralize everyone there, but it does seem to be a certain type of people who are more prone to like OCD sort of patterns. Obsession to detail, repetitiveness, and that's something that I've dealt with myself, struggled with, to be open and vulnerable, whatever. And I think a lot of them probably do too, because you really care about something, the animals, right? And then you think something, this little tiny thing's going to really affect this, so you're going to obsess about it, and you're going to, well, that's what happened with me, and you just don't see anything outside of that. It's like, remember what I was speaking about earlier in a private chat, monotropism, like that thing where you're only focused on one thing and then you're blindsided by everything else. Like when you're reading a book, some people have a really strong attention, like you're reading a book, sucked into a book, someone's calling the name, shouting at them, they won't hear them. That's like that. So they're focused on these little details while not seeing mentally the problem with it, because they're so focused on it, thinking it is the right thing. So yeah, sorry, I keep going off track into things you're not asking me.
It's good. It's good. You're not rambling at all.
I feel like maybe it's valuable.
Nah, mate, you're not rambling. Yeah, I mean, like I said, mate, you made your point clear at the start. You said you're not here to bicker. There is questions I want to ask, but I don't want to, focus too much on the bickering. You've got a solution. You say that you've got a solution to this that you think would.
I think some things will help, and I've got some stuff written down.
Yeah.
That in a bit,
yeah.
But
yeah, we'll move on
do you want
to
to
that then, mate? I don't know if anyone's got any questions for you at the minute. Regarding what you've said, because obviously
I'll let you just look at the chat and whatnot.
Yeah, if anyone's got anything to say to John or ask him anything that I haven't covered, please do.
So I can't see the chat at the moment because I'm just on the StreamYard. But
oh, can't you see the chat on the right? No,
not at the moment, because it'd probably distract me, to be fair, and that's the point. I'm a person who's easily distracted and really focused on one thing. So people in that group can probably relate with that.
Yeah. It's interesting that is, mate, because a couple of people as well have said, and I'm not one to speak because I haven't got autism and I don't really know what autism is really. I know that you've got different, levels of it, or there's a wide range of different types of autism or whatever. But people with autism or have got some kind of autism actually said that they can see patterns inside them that they believe as to why they believe they might be autistic. Now, I can't speak of that because I don't know, but what would you make of that? I think that relates to what you just said. You know, is there a chance that some of these people are maybe suffering with that, and
Kind
this
of
is
like
the way
that,
they act,
but I
or I
don't want to
don't
call it.
know.
I want to call it autism because I've looked into it. Because obviously, when you get people say, "Oh, I think you're autistic," I worked a job. I failed at the job because I was getting overwhelmed. The woman worked like my manager. She was I don't want to make this about me, but just speaking about how like how I kind of am and how that relates to people, could relate to people in that group, and how it could like help them understand maybe what could be causing issues with not understanding, not seeing things clearly. But anyway, she said she's got an autistic son, and she said that I was autistic, and I'd never heard anyone say that before. And then more people who have it have said the same thing to me, and I've struggled because of it, like working, making friends, socialize. I used to be really bad at like talking to people and stuff. I used to be really introverted, and because I didn't understand, like I was so focused on other things like science and philosophy and music as a kid that I didn't really develop those things as well. So yeah, it's definitely a thing, but I don't want to call it like, it's certain symptoms, it's certain things, and like repetitive behavior, hyperfocus, monotropism, they're big parts of it. Like for me, I feel more comfortable eating similar foods every day because it's just easy to do that, or doing similar patterns because it's just so there is a level of like this control thing, but it's not like something like narcissism where you want to control other people per se. It's just, so that is what I'd say about that. And but yeah, I don't know what else to say about that actually.
Yeah, no, mate. Yeah, it's
Probably
like
all to say about that.
Chris has said, and I've mentioned this before. It's very black and
People
white. It's
probably
very
agree.
like, I'm right,
Yeah,
you're wrong.
that's
This is
another
that.
thing.
That's not right. I'm not listening to you. Blah,
Extreme
blah, blah. No matter
thinking.
what you say, you need to listen to me because I'm the educator. I know more than you. It's very like, there's no give, there's no play. It reminds me of when, I don't know if anyone's got like a crazy ex. I know a lot of people have got crazy exes, and like back in the day, you're trying to like reason with them, and they've got their own agenda, and you can't get through to them because no matter what you say, they are hell bent on either,
Making
I
you
don't
look
know,
bad
making you look
and
bad, or
making
wanting
you
to
go
get rid of
crazy.
you, or making, gaslighting you. So it reminds me of the crazy ex that you can't get through to. And also it reminds me of the crazy ex as well, because they also creep back, and then they don't like
Yeah.
you blocking them. But if you've blocked, then you've gone your separate ways, and
When they've gone
that's
away
the
from
end
their
of
old
it.
boyfriend and they want to come back
But,
to you.
but yeah, they just want to creep back. But yeah, Georgia said as well, obsessive behavior, tunnel vision, lack of social nous. Is that a word?
Yeah,
I've heard that word.
that's another thing.
Yeah.
So not recognizing when people are upset, because you haven't learned that as such as a child, or as to the stronger degree of other people. It doesn't mean you're heartless. A lot of people who are quote unquote autistic on that spectrum, they are really compassionate, but they just don't understand sometimes when they're doing something wrong, or when someone's upset. It can be hard to recognize, especially on social media, when it's just words, you're just seeing words and you're just seeing a profile. It's very easy to detach from the person. Like, and that's probably one of the main issues with it, with this group, is that they don't seem to be able to do that as well.
Absolutely,
Some
mate.
of them, but most of them not.
Just flicking back a touch, mate. Carolina said, "Did you say that you did think that one or two of them might be industry shills, or is that just?"
I don't know. I've been suspicious, and I'm just going to say something that they only saw. I don't want to call it evidence or anything, because it's really far off evidence. What's that, fan? I wonder what that was for a second. Then it looks a bit funny.
I'll turn it off in case you can hear me.
No, I just wondered what it was. It looked a bit rude at the start. Like I just
I'll
mind.
carry on then. Carry on, mate. You said
A pink thing that's like got like a. Anyway, I should have got my fan up here. It's roasting me.
We'll concentrate. Yeah. So, what made you think that, mate? What made you think that you might have had a suspicion?
Well, people saying it, but also I've studied into, like, I've been in other communities, And I'm not saying that they are or they're not. I'm just saying it's suspicious, like you said. Like everyone else is kind of like George speaks about this kind of stuff a lot on his YouTube channel, with other activists in the past and stuff. You've probably seen those videos, right? So I'm kind of on that same level, like just let's critique it, let's question it, but not make a conclusion out of it. So I think from other groups I've been in and seen actual astroturfing take place and controlled opposition, to steer people away from the main kind of thing. The tactics of that is, just for anyone who doesn't know, is they make the group look crazy. That's one tactic. So if you've got something that's true, like veganism, they'll make you look crazy. That's actually something they do from the outside and the inside. That's a really big one, because if people see they're crazy, then they're not going to associate with them. Another one is control
theories. Am I right? Am I wrong?
Yeah. A lot of conspiracy theories.
You're a tinfoil hacker. You have looked elsewhere for information. You are crazy.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, a lot of those things can be true, but then they're mixed in with other things, and then that's one form of control opposition. They mix in things that aren't true. So, for example, the vegan definition is this, or whatever. That could be an example of that. Or you're a utilitarian because of you saying the word pain or something. Which is nonsensical. It doesn't make, it's like truth mixed in with lies. That's a big thing. Control and conquer, like divide and conquer.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing. That's another sign. And just, it could be all coincidence, but what else?
But the thing is, people might think that's a little bit out there. They might think, oh, there's no way. But if someone was going to employ or create a group, they're going to pick the best of the best. They're not going to pick ones that you can see right through. Do you know what I mean? Like,
and right. Who's the biggest animal exploitation company in the world?
Who is it?
Do you know? I'm pretty sure, like from my research, it's JBS, and they're based in South America. And
in Brazil,
I'm just saying. I know it's big area, but a lot of them do seem to be from there. That could be a total coincidence, but it's a bit weird. The headquarters are in Sao Paulo.
Pulling the strings, pulling the puppets.
I don't know honestly, because I did look up online, like in Colombia. Like I know a few of them are from Colombia, and there is a headquarters in Bogota for JBS Foods. But it all sorts of headquarters could be there. But the thing is, that's the only kind of, I was saying, very, very, very fringe form of not evidence, is it? It's just suspicion.
A hint. Yeah.
We can't say that, oh yeah, they are or whatnot. But I think what we should focus on more so is just the behaviors themselves and why they're bad, rather than why more, because when it's able to know, or really difficult to know, or it could frame people in a wrong light, when maybe they really feel like they're doing something genuine, but actually they don't know, they're being like a controlled opposition. Like you have people who don't know they're doing it. They're working in a way indirectly for the opponents, the big industries. They're not, I'm not saying that someone's paying them or someone's like influencing them or blackmailing them or whatever, in whatever way, but they're doing what they would want. So it doesn't matter anyway. It doesn't matter if someone's paying them. It doesn't matter, because it's already detrimental. And they're like,
and
I think
you want
said,
the solution, don't you?
Yeah. Or start to try and come. This is what I wanted to make this discussion about. Like, how can we like create some solutions to this, and how can we start to connect with these people? Not all of them, because some of them you don't want to connect with. They just keep on your block list. But some of them just confused, and how do we get through to those people, and how do we kind of educate them? And
it's kind of like yourself, mate. You broke out. You saw that it was toxic. You've realised, the difference between the purity and the methods that work and stuff. And it's kind of like a vegan changing, a non-vegan turning vegan, because if you've made it out, I'm sure others can too.
Yeah, that's the thing. And purity ain't the issue though, because obviously right and wrong is always going to be pure, if you know what I mean. But it's It's the kind of thinking that you are right when it's not true. That's the problem. So being obsessed with a certain like you can't even hug your dog or your cat because that's exploitation or something. Or there was a debate going on when I was around, or about when I was leaving back in 2024, about like earthworms. Earthworms are animals. The soil's their poo, so we can't use the soil. And that was kind of like what some people were saying to this group, and they couldn't really, because that aligns with what they're saying, right? Like if you're going to go strict with that definition, you can't exploit the products of animals. You can't even walk on the ground because you're using the soil that was from the, and you're destroying their property. So where does it really? So that level of purity where it's irrational sort of is not. We need to come from adaptive. Yeah, there's moral principles that are basic, like protect the interests of others. If their interests don't collide with others' interests, like if they're not, that's what rights is. Like rights is what someone can do, like as long as they're not interfering with someone else. So that's why we need to think about it. We can't be like, oh, this abstract, like if it's like stuck in the intellectual, it's like hyper stuck in there. And yeah, to answer what you're saying, like because I got away from it. And when I say away from it, it sounds like, oh, this big cult, this whatever, but away from it online, obviously. But when you're online, it does feel like another world. So it kind of is like a real environment in a way. But yeah, so like I was saying, I had to take breaks off of social media. It's like literally leaving a physical place. It's like the same thing. Your brain doesn't interpret it differently. So that's why I think it's such a big, like that's the biggest thing that I did when leaving. But yeah, what was there something more specific they were asking about that I've kind of...
No, you've covered it all, mate. That's great. That's good. Move on to
I've got a few
your
things
notes,
to go over,
John.
but...
Yeah, mate. I'm happy just to let you crack on, mate.
So
I mean, I know you want to delve into the words.
Just to kind of go through. I mean, I've already said a lot of the things I've done, but I did write down more things. Yeah, so I spoke about the constant bombardment thing. So that's something that's another main thing that is getting people stuck there. That is so much information that is being sent in those chats all the time, and not just in the chats, but in the comments section. You're always in the comments section talking about chats, talking in the group DM about this thing and repeating the same thing. That's one of the main things too, on top of being on social media so much. That's what's getting people stuck, I think. But I want to go for like the main beliefs of like what I found with that group when I was in it, and just to kind of see if this aligns with people. So obviously the first one is they always hound on about the true definition, and this is what I want to get into kind of a little bit later after, but the true definition of veganism is the one Leslie Cross created, and the true crystallized form. You've probably heard that, right? The crystallized definition. Have you heard that? That's what used to be said back in 2024 at least. Yeah. As if because somehow they all agree now this is the original definition, not the one that was actually original. This is weird belief that the one that Donald Watson came up with in 1944 to mean a diet, that's not the true definition, because then Leslie Cross came along. It's kind of like it's choosing. Like I prefer this because it's speaking about animal rights. So it's sort of committing something called a moral fallacy, moralistic fallacy, where it's like, well, what is right? When something's right, like it's right to not exploit animals. Therefore, veganism should also be about that. It should also be true. That do you get what I'm saying? Where it doesn't necessarily have to be. We can have another movement that has that, and just call it animal rights. But they, for some reason, like Leslie Cross, wanted to take over that already because it felt right that people who are vegan should also be pro animal rights and not exploit animals whatsoever. So that's their kind of thinking, and that aligns with what I've looked up anyway about like Leslie Cross's kind of thinking about it, and his sort of wanting to change it because of making it into an animal rights movement. And by the way, obviously I'm for animal rights, but I don't. This is something I want to get into with talking more about the definition. What is it really? That's what we're going to get into, how language works and everything. But yeah, it's better to kind of keep them separate. And George Martin, I was watching your latest video on YouTube last night when you were interviewing, I think it's called Samaran or Saruman. Saruman. That's fucking Lord of the Rings, isn't it? So, yeah, Samaran. Sorry, it's my brain. It's doing its thing. And he was speaking about how we should separate the word, or we should separate the plant-based stuff from the animal rights, which is actually this is what they're about. The Leslie Cross group, that's what they're at, isn't it? And that's what we agree with them on, and I think we should agree with them on. But the thing is they're obsessed about this vegan word, when actually, like Samaran was saying in the video, George's interview, and when I watched that, by the way, anyone who's not seen it, like, it's good to watch. I recommend that. I was like, wow, someone's actually speaking about this. Like, I hadn't heard it really, that we shouldn't really be using the word vegan at all for animal rights, because people think of vegetables and stuff, even though that is a consequence of animal rights, being pro animal rights. It's not what it is, so it can be confusing. And Leslie Cross wanted to make it that way. He wanted to put them both together, and so it's ironic that they're promoting him, because it's actually what they're against in a weird way. Like, they're against merging them together, but originally this vegan society was, and I don't want to get into this too much because I don't want to argue the history and whatnot, because to be honest, we can learn from it, yeah, but it's irrelevant to today, like what things mean today and what we're supposed to do today, and in context for society and everything, and how things have changed. But yeah, there's this weird thing that Leslie Cross wanted to make it, because it feels that you feel like, oh yeah, vegans, as in the vegans back then, or the vegans who are online everywhere who just eat the plant-based diet and they call themselves a vegan, right? Which is a common understanding of the word, that they should not be exploiting animals anywhere else. So therefore, vegan should mean something different, which is a logical fallacy, because it's not that they should change the meaning of the vegan to mean something else, right? Like Cross wanted, and like these people want, but it's that they should just do that. It doesn't matter what other thing they're associated. Like, let me give an example. Like, imagine there's a group of firefighters, right? And they are doing firefighting for different reasons, right? Some of them want to save buildings. Some of them want to help insurance companies by not actually, working insurance scams and stuff, by not actually putting the fire out properly and stuff, and allowing the damage to, right? There's people who want to generally save people, and there's, I don't know, someone who I don't know. Yeah, let's just say that. So you've got people with different agendas, but they all do the same thing. Actually, let's get rid of the one who's trying to make the damage worse, because that doesn't align. It's, right. So you've got people who want to save the buildings, like it's historical, they look nice or whatever. You got people who want to save people, right? So you've got these two different people doing the same thing. They're rescuing people just as much as they've got different motivations, but they're still doing it. And imagine if someone was to come along and say, oh, you're not allowed to be a firefighter unless you actually just want to do it for the people, right? That's kind of like what Leslie Cross was saying about veganism. There's this group of people in plant-based. Not all of them are doing it for animals. Not all of them were. So he wanted them to do that. And actually, from what I know from apparently what happened is that people left that group. It was like 600 or something, and then went down to like 100 and something. So it's actually detrimental, because you've got all these people who are doing it, and you saying, oh, you can't do it unless you are moral everywhere else, and your intentions, that gets rid of all like the sociopaths and people who are just not there yet. It gets rid of them, and they, with a firefighter example, they don't help. So they don't save people from burning buildings. I'm not saying we're saving them.
Mate, what's even worse than that is some people like myself actually vegan, like leave animals alone. They're not ours. Stop enslaving them.
Yeah.
Vegan for the animals, despite not even knowing the definition. So then there's even that layer to it. It's like you've got to know the definition despite doing it for the animals. Do you know what I mean? So it's
Should we go into that now? Should we go into
even
language
worse
now?
It's even worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on, mate.
This is the biggest bit. This is the most. This is what they hound
Sorry,
on the
John.
most about.
Before you go into that, mate, talking of the
Comments,
definition
yeah.
as well, Craig, the photographer, I know everyone knows Craig, Vegan Photographs. He came up with a good one. He said, if you're going to be so petty and you're going to be so, you know, accurate with what you're saying, if you go by the Leslie Cross definition, he sent me a video of a firework display about banning fireworks because they cause distress and alarm to animals.
Yeah, annoys me
So
when that does. Yeah.
is it a vegan position to ignore the impact it has on animals and the suffering and deaths it causes? If they answer yes, it needs banning, they're taking an actual welfarist stance, as banning it is literally being done for the welfare of the animals. If they answer no, or they don't have a position, they clearly don't give a shit about animals in order to ban something that causes so much death and suffering to all animals. So it's nothing
So
to do
yeah.
with using, it's nothing to do with exploiting, you know. So that's
Well,
another good
actually,
point for people
this
to
is.
think
I
about.
understand this. I understand why they think exploitation covers everything, and you can really poke around it and have exploitation as like this umbrella for everything. So if you're gonna, I think if you're gonna go and just kick a dog in the street, you're not getting anything out of it, like physically, but you are getting something emotionally out of it. So the definition of exploitation is something like you're doing something unfair to another individual for your own gain or someone else's gain. So gain, what is gain? So they're really obsessed about this, like, oh, well, emotional gain, mental gain, physical gain. But most people don't think of fireworks as being exploitation. Like, it doesn't really make sense. Or kicking a dog as exploitation. They just see that as cruelty. And it still matters because, well, the animals have interests. They don't want to be in pain, suffering. They also don't want to have things. So that's and this is what this is how I got into it originally, because I was like, oh, it's not just about pain, it's about deprivation too, like murdering painlessly. I'm stealing things without causing them pain, like taking away, like imagine if you're an adopted kid, you don't know your parents, and then your adopted parents, they don't ever tell you about your parents that exist. That's not going to cause you pain, but it's still wrong because they're depriving you for something good. Like they're controlling you, and so I think we'd agree with that. Everyone agrees with that. That's like, you wouldn't, even if you don't know it's happening to you, you'd still want to know your actual parents, wouldn't you? So that's like deprivation without pain or suffering. Yeah, that's the best example I could think of, like over the months and whatever. And also stealing something, like taking someone's property without them, like they've got something in storage, and you steal it from the storage, they don't know about it, but still, because you're depriving of them from ever having that thing that is theirs. So that's what I really got into this thing with, and it seemed like they were about that. But then it's kind of ignoring the pain thing. Like, it's so obsessive about, it's not focusing on what the individual's actually experiencing. It's not coming from a place of heart, from empathy and real putting yourself in it. It's coming from doctrine and principle, and you must be aligned with this. It's like this robotic, like intellect. It's like
it's so simple.
It's like I don't know if you know of Kant, the philosopher. He said, like, oh, you shouldn't ever lie, because if you lie to an axe murderer who's coming to your door asking for where your friend is, and you tell him your friend's not in the house, and you lie to him, and your friend runs out the back door and he kills your friend, then that's your fault, and also you're manipulating the axe murderer, so it's wrong by lying to him. It's like, so like his kind of mind was like autistic as well. Like, apparently he was like, and we wouldn't think that that's wrong, would we? We think that it's justified to lie to him to protect your friend. And that whole idea of like, oh, what about this situation where he runs out the back door, and then this obsessiveness, intellectual obsessiveness, pulls you away from reality. Like in that axe murder example, a few people might not actually know of that example. So this focus, and obviously we should focus on like moral hypotheticals, and we should focus on like the logic of things. But if we're doing it so much that it's removing us from like reality, it's removing from emotion, and it's removing us from like ontological, like reality. It means like the real empirical world, like the things in the real world, like what's actually happening to them. And if we're stuck up in here in a mind, then it's just like mathematical equations, or like logical equations. It doesn't, so you can go wrong in that because you cannot see why it doesn't attach to reality because you're stuck so much in, and that's what it was like being in there, honestly. Because you feel like, oh, it's a really intellectual thing, therefore it kind of must be right because you're going through all the logic and stuff in your head. But it's like if you've got an equation, right? You've got like 1 + 1 = 1 apple plus 1 apple equals 2 apples. But then apples don't even exist. Then what is the meaning of it? You can be wrong about it because there is no apples in existence. So it's a thing in itself. You're talking about animal suffering, animal pain. Why does that matter? It's because when you put yourself in the position of any sentient being, it's because they don't want that to happen to them. It's about their interests, right? Because it's horrible or not good, right? Yeah. So yeah, I think that's like a big driver of, and back to the definition thing. That's what I want to talk about because I don't want to go too long. It's like an hour and a half in now, but I don't know. Did you want to say anything on that, or does anyone want to say anything on that? Because
I think you've covered a lot, mate. Yeah, it's.
I think that's important for our movement in general as well, because a lot of people do, and philosophy is important. But when, I think Tom Reagan actually had a quote. It's like, the mind can lead you to water, but the emotions make you drink. Like it's like that's the reason. Yeah, real reason lies with emotion. It's not
all this. Yeah, all
reality.
This business about suffering and the focus on suffering and cruelty and stuff. Imagine just
it's away from emotion.
Imagine being one of the victims, and you're there highlighting the worst possible thing that is a result of the oppressive mindset, which is the violence, the cruelty, the suffering, obviously. And
obviously that's
all of a sudden, someone pokes their head over the fence and goes, "No, you shouldn't be talking about that." Imagine what the animal would say to that person poking their head over the fence.
Jake, they'll say, "Oh, no, it's not that you shouldn't be talking about it. It's that you should be talking about exploitation too." But then they don't actually really speak about it, do they?
Like that negates the that talking of that negates the exploitation without the suffering. Do you know what I mean?
That's the
black and white thing. It's the black and white
thing. But with that actually, to name the fallacies they're committing, there's one of them doing. It's called fallacy of composition, where they're saying just because you're like saying one word, then you therefore are that word. Like,
yes.
If you talk about pain, then therefore all you're about is pain.
Yeah,
that's the fact. The thing that makes something up, like the bricks in a wall, it's like saying a brick is part of the wall, therefore a wall is a brick. That's not true.
Great way.
A wall is a fucking wall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it works the other way around as well. Like you can say a wall is a brick in the wall is a wall because it's a wall is what's made up of it. Like it's the entire thing. So, but they're doing it that way where they're saying like you're mentioning. Just because a person mentions animal suffering, it doesn't mean they're only about animal suffering, right? That's what we always say back to that, and that's, like if a person likes the color red and tells you they like the color red, that doesn't mean they only like the color red. It's silly, and then to think that people listening to that conversation were going to assume and use the same logical fallacy as you. And be like, oh yeah, just because he said they like red, and therefore they only like red, is like, in a way, it's thinking that everyone's really stupid. Like the general public are really. And don't get me wrong, people can be brainwashed, but like, that's just
if you focus
down at people
on the most exploitative industry in the world, then you must think that veganism is a diet. Is what they're saying.
Yeah, fucking no, and that's what people are suspicious about because obviously. That is the most important thing, and the food thing as well, like how food, like eating animals and their secretions and whatnot, is having the most impact on them. And telling people to like not speak about that, but also focus on other things is, that's fair enough, right? But they don't actually. That's not really what they're saying. In a way, it's like you should only speak about the other stuff, which confuses
people.
Talk
about the feather, talk about the feather, but I'm busy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's the thing as well. Like I was really obsessive philosophically about that. Like you shouldn't ever pick a feather up because, well, it belongs to the bird. And then that's going to somehow lead logically to you exploiting them. in the future, and that's like an extra step. And yeah, like fair enough, like you shouldn't take an egg from a chicken, but if there's a random egg in the forest somewhere or a random feather that's been abandoned, and that's the key word, then it's not like but the reason they'd obsess about that kind of thing is because they're trying to show that they're logically consistent, so they can have this appearance that they're right. It's always about being right.
Exactly.
So if you said to them like, oh, what about like the feather? Then they have to agree that you can't ever pick a feather up. Or if you said to you about like fussing your dog or taking, your dog on a walk. Oh, how do you know your dog might not want to go on a walk? They haven't given you consent, so don't take them on a walk because you're exploiting them. Because you want to take them on a walk, so that's exploitation. Or you want to stroke your dog, even though your dog likes it, and they will tell you when they don't like something, because there still is that thing that they ignore. They think that animals you can't know the interests of animals at all. Like
imagine being burnt alive. Imagine being burnt alive while you're upside down and someone starts yapping on about a feather in the woods. Do you know what I mean? It's like, do you not understand why the focus is on the violence and the fucking cruelty? Do you know what I mean?
We can get to the feathers and stuff once the world is for animal rights.
Exactly that, mate. Yeah, exactly
if you want to.
Like I've been accused of defending someone who had an old pair of shoes in their wardrobe or a belt or something. Like I'm going to give a shit about his shoes. You know
I mean, yeah, there is a thing like wearing leather in public.
Of course, yeah. The difference between
that makes sense. That makes sense.
What I'll do, John,
on a psychological level.
George was going to come in, mate. So if you carry on to your next point, I'll bring the special.
Does he want to come in? Like, does he want to come in, or does he?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, because I
didn't know if like before he was saying that. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, so
because I've got to get through some other stuff quickly.
You obviously talk about your thing, mate, and I'll just get George in just to give it a bit more of a.
So another thing that they're doing, another like fallacy they're committing, is called a categorization error. So for example, just because welfarists talk about pain and suffering does not mean that anyone who talks about pain and suffering is a welfarist. Because to be a welfarist, you have to think pain and suffering is wrong, but exploitation is okay. So you need two things in order to be part of the category of a welfarist. They're seeing one thing and then classifying it as being part. That's like saying everybody who owns a gun is part of the military. Everyone who's got a gun in America, but in order to be in the military, I mean, you might not even need a gun. You probably do, but you've got to have a gun, and you've got to also be trained, and you've got to be part of this group and this organization, and that makes you part of them. So it's a categorization error. They're saying, Cliff Grant is a welfarist because he uses abuse on his sign or whatever. Just because of that one thing. It's not both. It's not the full. And that does relate to the fallacy of composition thing too, like the brick in the wall thing. So I want to speak about quickly because I don't want to take too much time, but language and the definition. The definition of veganism, like, does it matter? Should we? Does it matter to us at all? Should we use it? That kind of thing. And because me questioning the whole group I was in and the obsession about the definition, I was really thinking of the opposite of that. Like, why does it really matter at all, the word? Or why can't we just use some other word? Or why do we need a single word that is ambiguous to everyone when we can just speak in a sentence which is got much less likelihood of being ambiguous? Meaning, if I say vegan, you could think a plant-based diet, someone else could think animal rights, someone else could think environment, someone else could think whatever. But if I say I'm against exploiting animals, that's not ambiguous. It's because those words in that sentence are pretty much the same, it's used the same everywhere in the English language. So the argument is, do we just tell people I'm pro animal rights, I'm against violating the interests of other animals, or do we say I'm vegan, or just one word? Because so that's the first thing. Does it even matter?
I ran into a slaughterhouse before, a halal one, and he said to me, "Are you vegan?" And I said, "No, I'm an anti-bully." And people were like, "Why did you not admit that you were vegan?" And I said, "Look, it gives a different perspective. Like, instead of him just thinking, oh, he's one of these, all of a sudden I'm just a bloke who's pissing him off, and I don't like bullies."
Why?
He's going to go home. He's going to go home that night and think, oh, he's an anti-bully. What's he on about?
my
it's a
bullying.
different way of saying you're against the whole setup.
Yeah.
Before you move on to your next point, John, obviously take your time. You've got loads
That's
of
cool.
time. I'll add George in, and George meet John, and John meet George.
Yo.
Yeah, great.
I
stream
think you
so
might
far,
recognise
man.
my voice, actually. I had an argument with you once on I was part of that group. I was telling this to Jake earlier.
Hey,
When I was-
is there anyone on earth who hasn't had an argument with George?
Yeah.
That is hilarious. Wait, when
It was like about bombs or something. I don't know if you remember. It was like the Palestine thing, because at the time, like I was just posting constantly about that, and everyone was posting about that, and then everyone was like, there was a lot of like conflict. I remember having like an argument about that and other stuff too, like because I was part of the vegan like police gang or whatever.
It rings a bell. Shit. Oh, damn. So, yeah, damn, we were enemies in more ways than one, it seems. Well, it's good to be on the stream, and we can bury the hatchet. But I want to say, great stream so far, and I love these observations you've made about the fallacies are just fantastic, because the whole time, because I pride myself as someone who's pretty good at spotting fallacies, but I have failed to spot that they're that. So
it is good to give them a name. It is good to name them.
It's brilliant to do that. So
you can look it up online and then you can understand it more.
Yeah, and the first one you mentioned was fallacy of composition. So it's like saying that if you have a brick in a wall, it weighs 1 pound. That means the whole. You said that a brick in the wall weighs 1 pound. That means the whole entire wall is 1 pound. You are a 1 pound wallist, right? That's one thing Arenas is doing.
Oh my god!
What was the second fallacy that you said?
It's actually very related to that, but it's just like a categorization error or miscategorization. Which is like the most basic thing in logic, isn't it? Like what is and what isn't. So yeah.
And give an example of that again.
So I've got a lot of notes written down, but just because welfarists talk about pain and suffering does not mean that anyone who talks about pain and suffering is a welfarist, because to be a welfarist, you have to agree that suffering is wrong, but agree that it is still okay to exploit animals if it causes no pain. Yeah. And a person merely talking about pain and suffering is not talking about exploitation being wrong, so they are not a welfarist. So it's like that's the combat to it. That's pointing out like what's wrong with it. Because you need two things to be the whole thing.
Yes, and because I've been calling it the whole time what they're doing, black and white thinking fallacy, which is I'm sure what they're doing.
Yeah, that's one of them too. Yeah, that's definitely
right. But the two you've come up with in this stream just in the last 15 minutes or something, that has really, really hit the nail on the head as just to how it's so obvious that this is what they're doing, but no one can fucking explain it, dude. So thank you for...
Hopefully it helps them.
Yeah.
Hopefully they can see it and look it up online and hopefully break out of it, because that's the main thing they do, isn't it? It's not just a definition thing, but it's the, you're using the language wrong, or therefore you're this. You're misguiding people because you're making them think that this thing, whatnot. So that's their like, if you imagine they've got like pillars, that's like two of their main pillars or whatever, holding them up.
Right. And then the other interesting thing you guys were talking about is obviously the stuff about them being shills. Now, I don't believe that all of them are shills, but it would not surprise me in the least if one or two of them were, and the others are just puppets been strung along. Because me and Jake went on about this when Jake had me on a stream. It was maybe 3 or 4 months back, talking about, and the most suspicious thing they do, and you touched on this briefly earlier, but I just want to expand on this to say why it's so suspicious. Now, they rightly say that veganism is not a diet. It's about everything. It's about horse riding. It's about whipping an animal at the circus. It's about all this stuff, and it is, right? It's about all forms of animal exploitation. But they only get iffy if you make food posts like pigs are not food, or this is what happens to chickens in the chicken industry and blah, blah, blah. But when if you make a post of a monkey with a chain around their neck, they're like, yes, this is great. Yes. How come they don't comment on that post? Veganism is not just about chaining monkeys by the neck. It's also about pigs in the pork industry. And it's also about this. Why are they so, it's like they're protective of the fucking bacon industry. It's like
Play devil's advocate, right?
Right. It's like, talk about the other things, but no, don't talk about this massive thing that's like 98% of all animal exploitation worldwide.
I think they're trying to, I think some of them, at least the ones who are below the puppet, the marionettes, you could say, like that means a puppet for anyone who doesn't know what that means. But I think, and that is like a good term, because I felt like I was like that. It's not one person really pulling the strings. It's more so like a group dynamic, like an egregore, if anyone knows that term, like a term from the occult, actually. Like, anyway, so it's to play devil's advocate. I think they think, oh, everyone already knows about the food stuff, which they don't, because not everyone's a vegan or for animal rights.
Right.
But they think that, so therefore you're missing out on this important thing too. I think that's what gets you to think, justify you doing it and justify you speaking and going on people's posts. And but yeah, from the position of what it's doing in consequence, it is dissuading people from talking about the main issue, which is what the meat dairy industries would want.
And
so
John,
that is...
I hope I'm not sounding too personal here, but what I heard you say earlier about yourself, I think is quite relevant, right? And I think this is kind of how Arenas is doing this. Let's not, you've been scared of naming names. Let's name fucking names. It's Arenas who's pulling the main strings here. He started this bullshit. Right. You said you've had problems with socializing and being a bit socially awkward and stuff like that. Do you think that is actually true of the group as a whole? Because this is something I do see about pretty much all of them. I can't, apart from Xavi Animal, who seems to be extremely popular, the rest of them, well, he's got like 300,000 followers. He's like huge in the Spanish-speaking world.
Oh, and he's one of them. He's one of the.
He's now one of them, which is strange. But the rest of them are, and I hate to sound offensive to any people here, the rest of them do seem like autistic loners. Like I'm talking like 80% of them, right?
Yeah.
Do you think there's something in that?
Yeah, that's why I brought it up, honestly.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're putting it out there like exactly. But yeah, because I mean, for me personally, to explain, like there's a thing with autism a lot of the time, sleeping issues and whatnot. And for me, I didn't grow up like not knowing how to socialize or anything. I was really good at that stuff.
Yeah.
But kind of, there's a stage of development where you get older and having debates with people, having like more complex conversations, what you got to learn the social kind of thing. And I had a sleeping issue because it's part of autism. It can be. And I was sleeping, I'm still struggling with this, just to be honest, the opposite ways around. So instead of sleeping in the nighttime, I sleep in the daytime, and then really affects your social life, jobs, everything. So when you, someone like that, like I've been, then you've got online and you've got like less developed social skills, and you want to do something, you want to be driven because you're not getting out there. You've got fatigue problems, you've got mental health issues, and going outside in public, it gives you anxiety because social skills, and also like that's just a part of, I think a lot of people, to be honest, deal with that. It's not just, so yeah, that is, I think, is a big thing. But also, just sorry to cut you off or whatever, but the narcissism thing, because it's not that they don't understand what's right and wrong socially or how to act. They do, but they don't care anyway, or they just don't want to put effort into feeling how someone feels if you're speaking to them, like maybe what you said affected them in a negative way, or what you're doing, you don't understand that it's hurting, harming the movement, but they just won't care because it's more about just them and them being right and them looking superior intellectually and righteously.
But you know what's the most relevant thing about the observation we're making about the fact that most of them seem like loners? It brings them together because it's like they've found their tribe. It's like there's a lot of people out there who look for belonging, and it's it's quite sad because it's often kids who were picked on at school and couldn't make friends and stuff. And you'd think that they would learn from that and actually become good people in life because they've experienced victimization before. It turns out, and this is a sad part of the reality, that actually quite a lot of kids who get bullied at school or who are loners or who struggle making friends, they then go on to become shitty people later in life because they find this tribe and then they kind of pick on people because, like, now I'm going to be dominant. Now I'm going to be the bully. Now I'm part of this clique and I've found my people.
Like the woke gang, like you call out all the time.
Exactly.
They're the weird kids at school. You know, the kids who dye their hair red and the fringe. When I was at school, they were weird to me. Everyone else, I found people weird, but I found them even weirder. Like, so I didn't hang around with them all. But I know that kind of dynamic. It's like you've got those people who are trying to be edgy, who are trying to be doing the exact opposite of what other people are doing, and they get off on that because the people pick on them. It's contrarianism.
Why is the social justice warrior never some jock named Chad who's like, hey, dude, I drive a fucking pickup truck and I'm the captain of the school?
He was the bully.
Right. It's always the weird fucking very, very unattractive person who like is just like a social outcast who then grows up and it's like, fifth white male scum, I'm going to get you fired from your job because you made a joke that's marginalizing to people and all. Like, it's never Chad the jock who does that. It's always the fucking weird loser.
Is that the Leslie Cross time machine thing?
Yeah. Good memory of that vid. Yeah.
Oh, that voice. Oh, it reminded me of Wallace and Gromit. You know, the Gromit. Well, I don't know, the old guy. Have you watched that when you were a kid, or?
Of course.
Claymation,
where it originated.
Yeah. When you would, I don't know who was doing the voice for Donald Watson, but he reminded me so much of him. It looked like him. I don't know, just a point to make, and that social justice.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, I don't know what you mean.
Yeah. People should watch that vid. I made that vid like it must be like 3-4 years ago now. It's like Donald Watson meets an intersectional or something it's called, and we go back in time and we get an intersectional to speak to Donald Watson. I could probably do another one actually. Arenas meets Leslie Cross. Maybe that's an idea for a
that's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah. The time machine returns.
Yeah.
But
John.
what?
Yeah, mate, so you're sorry to I'm guessing
that's
all
right.
So your notes, I forgot what your next point was. It was gonna be something you've said about the fallacies. Earlier on before the chat, you told me something. I can't remember what it was, but I was really interested in it. Would that have been your next note?
What?
Do you know?
Can you roughly remember what it was?
I can't remember. It was on the edge of my tongue, but George has been cracking me up and he's took me away from it.
Was it something about? Was it when I was speaking about the fallacy of composition thing? Was it before that, or was it?
No, you haven't mentioned it yet. I think it was coming next. I can't remember what.
Oh wait, our chat, like from our chat, you saying?
Yeah. You said you wanted to touch on something, and it was. I was really looking forward to it. I can't remember what it was.
Was that when? Is that when we were having a like on the phone conversation? Or?
Yeah, just before setting it up, mate. Yeah. So you mentioned the fallacies, and then you said we'll touch on that later. Can you remember?
The veganism definition thing. Was it that?
I think we covered that, mate. Yeah, if you want to.
I haven't fully,
there, mate, anyway.
I haven't fully. Yeah, I'll talk about that first. But yeah, I've got a bunch of notes and it's kind of confusing. But actually, before that, I will speak about the kind of dynamics that goes on in a group, and any group that is. I've already kind of spoke a few of these, but like tactics of narcissists or people who want to control people. Not saying the whole group is, but you know, the kind of puppeteer dynamic thing that George made clear, that sort of thing. So I wanted to go for a few of those things. But did you want to say something first, George? Because you were.
I've just made a note of it that I can say afterwards, but I have a very telling revelation that someone actually emailed me. This is quite juicy about why they might be so focused on not mentioning suffering. Talk about this first, and then I've got a juicy thing to talk about that someone emailed me.
Well, I'll go through a few of these things because there's quite a lot. I've got like 2 pages, 4 pages.
Yeah.
Of notes, not of like pure writing. I'm not that obsessive. I mean, I might have been when I was in that group, but not so
Hang
much
on.
now.
If it's just notes, that's even worse, man. Because if it was writing,
Oh my god. Yeah, I need to define every single word. Condition people to
Take your
what's
time,
two?
mate. Take your
What
time.
does two mean? What does two mean? Can someone give me the definition of two? C. And yeah, whatever. I'm kind of dragging it out. But yeah, so triangulation. That's the main thing that's going on. You probably know what that is, George, because you've studied narcissism with. You don't know what that is.
Well, I know about the dark triad traits. Is it something to do with that?
Yeah. So these are like tactics they use, and these tactics are present in cults and kind of. Have you heard the term flying monkeys? Like they have these band of people who'd go around doing things for them, even if they don't realize what they're doing. They don't realize.
Like Charles Manson.
Control them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like they're probably normal empathetic people, but they're just brainwashed and they think they're doing the right thing or whatever. So triangulation is they condition people to see most other, in this sense, in context to our situation, to see other AR activists as the problem and then see them attack. So they basically turn them against them. And it's triangulation is when you imagine a triangle, you've got one person at the top and then you've got 2 people. Like it's like turning 2 people against another person, and they'll do that. Like they'll gang people around to turn you against them. They'll spread lies. They'll spread kind of they'll convince you that, like with the Cliff Grant thing, where I said that it would say, oh, Cliff Grant's got a big ego, he's doing it for the money and whatnot. And
what's it called? Triangulation.
Yeah. It's conflict creation. It's like divide and conquer almost, but it's not just that. It's grouping, ganging people, getting people on your side against another individual or another. So that's the main sort of thing that goes on with. And
bit like
so the next thing, scapegoating.
Can I just want to read
like
the definition of this, because this is just a quick thing that for anyone who's not understood what John says, I've just Googled the definition. Narcissistic triangulation is a manipulation tactic where a person with narcissistic traits brings a third party into a dynamic to create conflict, maintain control, and shift blame. Instead of resolving issues directly, they use a divide and conquer approach to make others compete for their approval. Interesting.
Yeah, and they do that because they don't want to be battlefield.
Did you see Arena specifically do this in the group?
Yeah, like kind of this supporting the us versus men mentality, us versus them sort of thing, and slandering people.
Right.
So that turns you against them. Like when it's repeated as well, especially, it turns you against them. And when things are misrepresented as well, like they can often be, to the bias of the person.
Sorry, mate, but I actually truly believe in this, because it's not like when there's an attack of 30 and then there's, say, 10 comments or 5 inboxes, not one person gives you any slack. So not one person have got their own opinion. It's all very regimented. It's all very repetitive.
Yeah, it's drip fed. It's like drip feeding. It's like
it's the exact same. It's like no one has got their own like mind to think, actually maybe this, or what do you think of this? It's just bam, 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 done.
And
it's mimetic.
What's particularly nasty about the way they do these dogpiling things is that they pretend they're not organizing these attacks. So they're saying, what they'll say is, "Oh no, I just came across your post, and that's why I'm doing it," rather than "we organized this brigading attack," which is what they do. Now, the reason they do that is to make the person feel that their post was just that obviously bad and that obviously against vegan values that true vegans would see it and be shocked. So that's why.
Isn't that utilitarianism? Isn't that means to an end?
Right. So
Isn't
that's
that like
why.
Using them?
Exactly. So that's why you saw, bless her heart, that vegan in Oz lady, I forget her name, recently crying and stuff, because she's thinking, God, my posts must be that awful that so many vegans are coming here and saying that I don't understand what veganism is. And what she didn't know is that these are organized brigading attacks where they say, today we're going to attack this person. Now, everyone comment on her post at 2 p.m. this time, blah, blah, blah. So that's a very...
it's more so like organic in a way where they'll just post and then people automatically like kind of train to do it.
Yeah.
I can't remember ever seeing like, oh, we're going to do this, but it was just like known, like we're going to go do this. It's a habitual thing. So like from operant conditioning, and I don't know how far you want to get into it, but that's one of the big things. It's like you get trained by exposure, like constant exposure. And then that's what kind of triggers you to do it. But you're thinking like, oh, this is what I ought to do because this is what is a good thing to do. This is what is the thing to help the animals. So when you see the post pop up, the shared link, you know what it's about. You're like, boom. And there's probably people listening to this, if they are from that group, going like, yeah, this is exactly true. And yeah, if you feel something is wrong with the group, just question it. Don't push it away. Don't push it out of your consciousness. Yeah. Anyway.
Yep.
So scapegoating though, that's another thing they do. That's, you know, like it's him. He's the one. He's the reason movements have gone down the gutter or whatever.
Yep.
He's the reason that she's the reason, whatever. So they mislead people to believe that most AR activists, and most of them, or if not all of them, like, have you seen anyone other than them and the people who join there who they don't go against? Anyway,
dude, they blame ex-vegans on us. It's unbelievable. They blame Cosmic Skeptic on fucking me.
I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming.
I am.
It's not even funny. I don't know why I'm laughing. The whole thing is horrendous.
It's ridiculous. That's why it's ridiculous.
The Cosmic Skeptic thing with your username is just absolutely mad. It's nuts.
And they're going to say you're just straw manning and you're just.
We didn't say that. We didn't say that.
Yeah, but they don't imply things directly as well.
Yeah,
so.
It makes you even angrier at these people because you wonder how people can be so stupid as to fall from that. Like Master Arena says something like that. The reason that Cosmic Skeptic is no longer vegan is because of vegans like George Martin and his vegetarian username and stuff. And then,
but you don't question it; it's just repeated.
Yeah, and his little minions just fucking lap it up.
That's so true. Honestly, it's just, and they don't think that's what's happening, but it's kind of like this weird reverberation, like reverence of when you have this reverence for a person that you don't notice, you automatically just kind of listen to what they say.
Yeah.
So,
and what the funniest one Arenas does, he says the reason that, you know, Cosmic Skeptic and whoever went ex-vegan is because they didn't understand the vegan message, because people like George and Jake and blah 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 give incorrect messaging. So I said, I'll tell you what, mate, and I unblocked him just for this. I unblocked him for like 10 minutes, and I sent him a message.
Oh God, it's enough to make anyone go crazy.
You come onto a live stream, I'll moderate. It's going to be me moderating and you versus Sarcastic Simon, who used to be called Vegan Vizard and is now an ex-vegan. And I'll say, if your messaging is so fucking good and you want to blame me and all the other activists for turning people ex-vegan, this is your chance to prove me wrong. If you come on the stream and convince Simon to be vegan again with your oh so perfect messaging that you're saying he would be vegan if he just understood, I will write a personal public apology to you, Master Arenas, and say you were right all along. And did he do
flowers as well? Yeah. Send it to him.
And like the fucking coward he is, he cucked into the shadows, mate. He wouldn't do the stream.
That's it. It exposes the whole thing.
Exactly.
People need to know. People need to know that. Like, people need to know that they won't actually, when it comes down to it, prove their point. Like, they're stuck in logic, but not empiricism.
Yeah,
this is what I was speaking about earlier. It's just pure equations. I don't even know what to call it, but yeah. So if they can't prove something, then why listen to them at all? Why be part of their crew?
Yeah,
I mean, it's just think about that. But again, like I was saying earlier, you've got to get yourself out of just out of social media if you want to think clearly. So that's the number one step for actually thinking empirically about that stuff.
Right.
But yeah, psychological projection is another thing they do. Slandering, defamation, character assassination. These things all go into the scapegoating and the triangulation. They feed into it.
And then they
guilt
wonder why
tripping.
they get blocked. It's so funny.
Yeah, they don't. A lot of them don't realize. I think some of them know exactly what they're doing, because it's like 4% of the population is part of the dark triad. You know, there's definitely a lot of them there, and they know what they're doing. So
They do everything possible to just act like a total piece of shit and then complain when they get blocked. It's actually hilarious.
oh my god, that's the gaslighting. That's what gaslighting is. Like,
Yeah.
I've done nothing wrong. It's how you're taking it. You're just sensitive. And
Darvo.
yeah, that's what I've got written down too. Yeah.
Go
That's
on.
the next thing, actually.
Oh,
You guessed it. That was the next one.
I'll just nip in there. I'll just nip in there, mate, if you don't mind. It's you're blocking us because of what we said specifically, or you're blocking us because you can't handle the truth about your misinformation. But it's never the attitude, the obnoxiousness, the demeanor, the people who they are, and the destruction they're causing. All of that is just pushed aside. And it's like, oh, that doesn't matter. You're blocking me because you don't like what I've said. No, it's not all about what you say. It's also how you say it. It's the destruction you're causing. It's the girls who keep on crying week in, week out. And that's the bit that baffles me as well.
So that would be part of like misplacing blame. Like, you're not identifying where a lot of them are not identifying that they're causing a problem. That's a big issue with like cognitive empathy. Like we spoke about autism and whatnot. So if a lot of them are kind of around that sort of space of being on the spectrum, or some kind of, they have not very good social skills, then it's not going to be as automatic for them to realize that connection. Doesn't mean they're evil or anything, but it just means that it's like when compare them to toddlers, but that would be a bit too offensive. But when a toddler throws a ball,
this is a good
a toy car at the head of, like, they're the sister or the brother, and they don't realize that the brother or sister crying is because they're in pain because they threw a toy at their head. They don't get that yet. So the parents have to, like, obviously stop them from doing that and say, oh, that was bad, that hurts, and make the connection. But online especially, it's difficult to connect because you don't see the emotional reactions of people. You just see you just see like someone typing away at something, and you can easily just not make that connection cognitively. There's a person behind there upset because they're so focusing on another thing. So that's the difference between a toddler and someone with like autism, is that they're so focusing on another thing, like a thing that they'll just, everything else will go out. And funnily enough, actually, it's kind of the same with sociopaths, that they focus on things. They can control that, though. They will just ignore the suffering of people. Like, they'll do something really evil and ignore the suffering of it, and they just don't care emotionally. But it's like
ignoring suffering. Who does that sound like?
Yeah, that's projection, though, isn't it? Why would they not want to focus on pain and suffering? Like, think about it. Like, maybe a lot of them have issues. They don't want to focus on their own pain and suffering. They don't want to focus on the consequences of their causing. It's like that adds to it. But no, it's just about this philosophy, and it's just about, that's why we talk about no pain and suffering, because that's what they'll say in reaction to this. But yeah, anyway, I'll stop blabbering on about that because.
Well, do you know what? This is a good segue for me to say the juicy observation that I had sent via email regarding their kind of anti-suffering ideology. You mentioned earlier in the stream that a good portion of them are from the Americas, right? Central and South America. There's a bit of Colombia, there's a bit of Venezuela in there, there's a bit of Argentina, there's a good old mix of the Latin American
as well, I think.
Yes.
By lower states.
Right. Now, one thing all those countries, and maybe even the state of Texas, I don't know, have in common, but definitely the Latin American countries, is they're all very heavily Catholic. Now, what this person emailed me was an observation about people who are brought up in Catholic countries. And apparently, a lot of people brought up in Catholic countries are kind of...
Passion of Christ, like something to do with this?
maybe something to do with that. They're kind of taught that suffering is instrumental and is actually good, and not to have this kind of anti-suffering mentality through life, and to see maybe life is just some kind of blessing, or you know, not to see pain as anything really significant. And it could be the case that people like AJ, people like Arenas, have maybe carried that over from potentially a Catholic upbringing or just living in a Catholic country.
Is that what the church leaders tell the little boys? Is that
sorry, right?
I had to make the joke. I had to.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why they say it, though, isn't it? Because then you ignore what they're doing to you. That's it, really. But yeah, what you're saying, that, and they seem to be very much against religion. So if they hate that kind of idea, too, it adds more emotional weight to it. Like, suffering is actually a good thing, but subconsciously, yeah, I guess that would be stronger. Like, that would, if they were brought up that way, then that would be more important than them kind of thinking against religious kind of stuff. Yeah. I think it probably would have some sort of impact on why they say that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Really. But I'm trying to see other things I can talk about. So, okay. Yeah. So we mentioned Darvo. The next thing. Oh, actually, we didn't go into Darvo, did we?
No.
I'm going to try to go through this quick, but.
Yeah. Jake, do you know what Darvo is? Have you heard of that?
I've heard the term. No, what's that all about?
Deny, attack, reverse victim offender.
Deny,
that
attack.
Is reverse victim offender.
Yeah. So first, so this is what a narcissist does. They deny that they've committed a spiteful act. They attack the person who's accusing them of it. Then they reverse victim offender. So they say, I am the victim in this. I was the one just trying to educate and spread the vegan message. You are the person who is now attacking me and trying to put down other vegans for doing what's right. So basically, it's the way I'm going to behave as shitty as I possibly can to other people. Then when people call me out on my bullshit or block me, which is like the most insignificant thing, by the way, like, get over it, you fucking child. Being blocked on social media is like the least of your fucking worries. They then act like they are the victim, despite being the victimizer.
Just like one of my family members, and not that she'd ever watch this, but I hope that just by chance she might do, exactly what she's like. What, like, to a T, man.
And it's not just narcissists that do this, so
I'm the
just to make clear.
It's very narcissistic, very common in narcissists, and that's what they do. That's what narcissists do.
Mm-hmm. And that, you know what, I did a video about
that behavior though, and
I actually did a video recently about why ex-vegans are no longer a mystery to me. And that's because I think ex-vegan activists in particular is that a lot of them are actually narcissists, and narcissists are drawn to justice movements because it gives them an opportunity to grandstand above others. So it's funny because carnists always say this thing, right? It's like, you lot are just vegan just so you can feel superior to others. You don't actually care. Now, for most of us, that's not true. But in some cases, carnists actually have a fucking point. There genuinely are some vegans in the movement. In fact, a good amount of them. There's a lot of narcissists in this movement. There is a good amount of people. Yeah, there is a good amount of people in this movement who are not vegan because they care about animals. They are vegan because what more attractive thing for a narcissist to come into when you can grandstand above 99% of the world's population and say, I am better than you because I do this thing. That is so attractive to a narcissist.
And where do they end up, George? They end up in the spiritual.
Yeah, that too.
Don't they?
That.
You see it all the time. You see these people. They're vegan and they end up in the
New Age.
the Zen group, you know, and the yoga.
Detaching from reality.
Yeah.
Kind of aligns
all the time.
Yeah, but that thing. I've been in those communities too. I've been in the so-called truth community, spiritual community, I've had experience of all it, so you can see it and you learn a lot. If you're about the truth and you want to find out things that are empirical, then you've got to avoid these people. So you've got to learn about them. So you get a lot of, it's actually quite scary how many of them in like the spiritual community, in the truth community, in the whatever communities, all the leaders of a lot of those ones are. The vegan community though, it's not all the leaders. It's only a few little ones really, I'd say. But in those ones, it's, yeah, you just avoid those people like the plague. Like, come and buy my $10,000 course if you want to learn how to manifest your dead mother back to life or whatever. But sorry, I'm a bit hard with the dark humor, but but yeah. So the other thing is badgering, and that's what their main thing, isn't it? Like constantly badgering on at people. You repeat things. People know what badgering is, when you kind of keep talking to someone about something and keep asking them, demanding them to do something, or telling them it's wrong or something.
Well, if they only left a comment of disagreement once, hardly anyone would have blocked them. But it's the fact that your only way to stop them shitting all over your posts is to block them. They will carry on and on and on. And so
and they don't see them as a problem.
Yeah, it's another one of, yeah, exactly. And it's another one of the reasons why it's just so the more ridiculous that they complain that they're blocked. Because if I was to disagree with Jake on something, I would drop one comment on one of his posts or something and say, yeah, great work, Jake. However, I would disagree with this. They act like that's what they're doing. They act like they're just giving this friendly, but they're not. Imagine if every fucking day of my life I just commented shit on Jake's posts and just completely shitted all over his comment sections. And then I said to Jake, you know, it's just a bit of feedback. It's how we learn and grow, mate. It's a movement. But literally all my time was spent just shitting on Jake's posts. He would have every right to block me.
Mm.
Yeah, and the thing with the narcissist thing there, obviously they know what they're doing, like most of the time. But a lot of people who use the badgering, they don't realize. It's like they're poking at an ant's nest, or they're poking at a beehive, and they get stung, and then they go to another beehive, get stung, and then go to another one, get stung, and they say, you're just not, you just don't, like, I don't know what problem you've got with this stick. This stick is actually helping you, and I'm poking you because it's a good thing. I don't know why you're attacking. I don't know why you've swarming up at me and attacking me and calling me a cult member or a bully. I don't know. You all you bees there that react to that. All you people out there who sting me. I'm the victim, by the way. You are in the wrong. I'm in the right. It's like really seriously. So every time you get
the guy poking at the bee's nest, and then the bees attack him, and then he starts crying and points at the bees, whatever. That's that's Arenas and his crew.
And the blocking as well. I haven't blocked anyone else. Like my life is full of confrontation and disagreements. No one else gets blocked. So it's not the fact that it's the disagreement; it's who they are and what they're doing.
Yeah,
it's like going into
everyone
a
on
mosque
Instagram
and
disagrees
screaming
with me.
something racist, or and then them reacting to you. It's like I don't know, like a church or a mosque place, and then saying something that's offensive to them, like really offensive, you know, it's going to trigger them, and then just going like, I don't know what your problem is, and then you go in another mosque or temple or whatever, say the same thing, and then they're all like attacking you and saying that like you just it may be true, like you may be going in there and telling them like, religion's a load of BS or whatever you want to say, and this is why. But then, like you're going into their temple to do that when they don't want you in there. First of all, and second of all, it's like, well, there's no respect there. There's no, like, you're just shouting at them, and of course they're going to react, not going to want that. So I think you've got to realize, this is speaking to the vegan police people or whatever you want to call them. What would you call them now?
What's the name lately, George?
Yeah, well, people can call them whatever they want, but the reason I don't call them the vegan police is because that gives them too much credit. We're the vegan police. So I said this to Jake on the stream we had. We shouldn't call them the vegan police, because that's the term apologists, vegans use at the actual vegans who actually are about the animals. Like, these plant-based people you'll see in these local vegan Facebook groups. And by the way, any Facebook group that has like vegans in town name or country name, whatever, in UK
It's
is
true.
pure cancer. Like that, we are the vegan police in those groups. Someone will be like, yeah, I'm vegan myself, but I buy eggs for my husband and I cook steak for my kids every night and I ride horses and I do this and that. And we'll be like, what the hell are you vegan? Whatever. Right. We're the vegan
I'm
police.
actually going to speak on that thing.
Yeah. But they act, I don't think we should call them
all about that. And yeah.
Yeah. Because
Like Eddie,
yeah, that's true.
like
Because
not
then it
Eddie,
gives them control over it.
Who's
Yeah.
the
Like, they've got an
big
authority, isn't
ripped up black geezer in America? And he was like, he is quite big. His page is quite big, and he started posting about like how, you know, if you want to eat meat, then I would recommend this. And we all hounded him, man. We all like
Bro,
just
yeah.
went out
Right.
because
Of course.
he deserves that. He needs to be corrected. That is wrong. You know what I mean? But
Yep.
we are the ones to do that. That's what we do.
Right.
There's a big difference.
They've utilised that. They've astroturfed that, haven't they? They've took it over and used it for their thing. But yeah, another thing, infantilizing. So seeing everyone else is like lower down than you, or like they're a baby that needs some explaining to them. This is so stupid. That's a really big part of like narcissism
100%.
and in this group. Minimizing. We've already kind of spoke. When someone hurts someone. And that's kind of like gaslighting. That shaming, hypercritique. Everyone knows what that is. Yeah, that's peer. I'm just going to go through it quickly. Just all the things, and people, if they want, they can look at what these things mean later. But this is all the things this group does, and this is all the things that narcissists do too, and it aligns perfectly. Which is why I'm going through it. So, yeah. So critiquing small mistakes and hyper micromanagement. That's what they do. Special making, flattering. They make their members feel special, and it gives this kind of ego boost, and you feel like you're on the right and stuff just by joining in the thing and being accepted and being told that what you're for is right and you're kind of special in a way. I mean, that's culty. That's a real cultish kind of thing. That is, oh Jesus, yeah. That's not massive in that group, but it's indirectly implicit, if you know what I mean. It's like you kind of feel like you are in the right and yeah, you're special. Not that I felt like I was special when I was in there, but it felt like you've got a mission or a purpose, or like it's something like that.
Yeah.
Appearance of being talented, knowledgeable, or intelligent. Yeah, we know someone who tries to make themselves appear really talented, intelligent, knowledgeable, righteous.
Yeah,
I
and I
mean-
just want to interject here with the weirdest comment that I've ever seen, which just absolutely blew my mind. This woman, and must have been, I don't know, one of Arian's sock accounts or something like that, because I can't believe this would be a real person who wrote this. She said something like, I once became ex-vegan because I was misinformed. I went vegan after watching Gary Yourofsky's speech, but because he had misrepresented what veganism was, I returned to exploiting animals. Then I came across David C. Arenas, and he changed my life, and now I'm vegan again, or something. Like, someone actually wrote this comment, and I could not
It
believe
sounds like a
it.
testimony off
Right.
of like one of those scam websites, like
I can't
one of
believe
those
that
spiritual
this would be-
courses.
Yeah, I
Changed
can't
my
believe
life
like
forever, and I
five-star
can
review,
manifest
yeah.
my dreams.
I can't believe that this would be a real fucking person. I reckon honestly, Arian
not-
or
it
someone
doesn't sound
like
it.
created a sock account and wrote that.
Or that this is the thing. They think you turn vegan once you understand it. So, oh, you're not vegan into it. So that could align with that, but still, it doesn't sound like a real person. It sounds like
Right.
those testimonies
Gary-
are made up.
Gary
people make
Yourofsky has
up on
turned
websites.
0 people vegan. David Arenas is the one who actually turns people vegan, because until you understand the doctrine, then you are not vegan.
Yeah, it's
Hey, come on,
So that-
hey, George, AJ's here. Just do AJ, man. Get it over with.
No, I won't.
Come on, everyone wants it, man. Even AJ wants it, really.
that's
You know what
that's
it's like.
that's too mean. No, that's too mean. David
No,
might
mate,
deserve
I'll
it, but
save it for another
Sorry,
time.
I'll behave. Sorry.
Oh my god, it was no naming, but now we're saying all the names. Who cares? Call them out, right? So yeah, us versus them. That's a really big thing. That's part of triangulation. Everything is a means to an end with a narcissist. Doesn't matter how you feel, really. They just want to get their goals. And so when you're hounding people in the comment section, you don't care how they feel. And you don't ask them if they want to be asked these things. You just kind of come in there and do it because it's a means to an end. So this is literally the utilitarian mindset. It literally is. And I think the utilitarian thing is a projection with some of those up there, because they themselves are in their mindset utilitarians. So calling everyone else utilitarian when they treat people as a means to an end is sort of that's why I think a lot some of them are obsessed with that more than normal.
John, because you're good at these observations and because you were part of them at one time, can you think of some other examples of how they have practiced utilitarianism, or how they might be utilitarian in some ways but might not know it or show it? Can you think of some thoughts they might have that come across as utilitarian in your mind?
So the idea that you can kind of, the first thing, push a definition on people. I mean, the effect of that, morally speaking, isn't massive per se, just that. But the idea that you can force things to be the way you want them, when kind of that thing in itself is because you're trying to control them because it's for a benefit, which is people then understanding veganism and everyone going vegan magically. And yeah, that's kind of, I'd say that's kind of utilitarian. But also the group dynamics, like the people who know they're doing it and they're manipulating people in this group, that itself is obviously means to an end kind of thing, because they're trying to get there. But most people in that group, they're just brainwashed, so that would be applying to them. They're being affected by that.
I did see a good observation actually sent to me. I'm just reading this DM that I got sent because I was just scrolling through my DMs looking for an example of this, because someone sent me a good observation. Now, Arenas and co are basically deontological absolutists, which means like a rights violation cannot be, you cannot commit any kind of rights violation at all for any kind of greater good, because that is utilitarianism, and utilitarianism is cancer. If something is a rights violation, even if it means maximizing the ultimate
like self-defense,
right,
well,
you cannot do it.
Yes.
Now, this leads to crazy conclusions, and one of them, he said, any idea how the deontological absolutists justify the use of Instagram, a technology that is widely criticized as exploiting users' attention and data, create labor and content moderators? And on top of that, you have obviously the use of technology. Now, I know that veganism isn't a human rights movement, but they must agree that rights violations occur in the technology industry. There is slave labor and stuff, and mining for minerals and stuff.
Like
now, if you're a deontological,
low pay and all that stuff, yeah,
right. If you're a deontological absolutist, you cannot, and this isn't even Nirvana fallacy I'm using. If you are a deontological absolutist, you actually just can't use technology or anything like that, because you're saying, even for any greater good, I can't commit any kind of rights violation at all. So I'm going to just forego all technology.
Yeah, I think the problem with that is that it's such a hard issue to solve. Like, this is how I look at it. Like, those are obviously issues. It's not the consumer per se that's doing that, even though they are contributing to it. It's not part of, say, buying grapes. Buying grapes doesn't always imply that like animals murdered, for example, but buying animal corpse is implying that. So you don't know what's happening down the line. So yeah, technically, unconsciously, you are being a utilitarian, but that's more of a, I would say, out of your control. It's not something you're intentionally doing, but yeah, technically, if you're that hardcore, then yeah, it's. Yeah. I don't even have to call it utilitarianism, though. It's not.
Right. But they must be doing something in their daily lives that does break some kind of deontic rule in some way, that they must think do, at least for the greater good, and they must think, well, okay, come on, but that's ridiculous because me doing this or buying this helps a greater number of people or animals or whatever. There must be a certain number of things they're doing in their everyday life that is a rights violation in some way, but it's for the greater good, whatever. So they have to be hypocrites in that regard.
Like the crop deaths thing, isn't it? It's like,
right.
I guess that would that be an example? Because you are violating the rights of those insects or those animals, if they even exist in the amounts that people try and claim they do.
Yeah, but or even us buying crops with that involve like exploitation of workers and stuff like that. There must be. Now I know this sounds ridiculous because it is ridiculous, because deontological absolutism is ridiculous. This is the conclusions it leads to. It actually leads to the carnist nirvana fallacy, where you can't do one little fucking thing in your life that's like a little bit bad or anything, even if it's for a greater good or whatever it is, because that violates this rule, that violates this doctrine, that's using someone as a means to an end, this is utilitarianism.
So yeah, the thing with that, I would just say that I don't think we should even be really ascribing really hard, like this is kind of the point you're making. It's more so we should just use basic kind of compassion, empathy and logic to decide in certain situations what is, because it's like the whole Kant, the Axeman thing. I mean, you're lying to someone, you're manipulating them, makes them feel bad. That's taking away their ability to their free will in a way, in a sense. I don't know if you know of the Axeman, you probably do. And yeah, it's like a burning building example. Like in one burning building, you've got 2 people, and another you've got 1 person. Who do you save? So you're letting someone die. What's the difference between that and then like the train example?
Well, life is a trolley problem. Yeah, there's always things decisions you've got to make because you believe.
And I wouldn't call it utilitarian though. It's something else, because utilitarian is utilizing. It's like I'm going to do this to you or whatever for a means to an end. That's sort of whereas saving someone from a fire, or 2 people rather than 1, letting the 1 person die, because I mean it's better obviously to save 2 people. Then that's just like, what would you call that? Was that deontological? Is that utilitarian? You're not utilizing them, that person who's dying for. You're not utilizing the person on the other track that happens to switch. It's just a consequence of like the situation. It's not like you're actually, I don't know. So morals are much more, I don't want to say complex, because that just makes me sound like one of these people who are just, it's just complex, like, I mean, just to avoid talking about it.
Right.
But situational. But there always is right or wrong. There still is right and wrong. It's just, what can you do? That's the kind of thing. What is actually like possible? And I don't know. We're limited as humans. We have flawed psyches. We can't. How are we supposed to know it? We're committing all sorts of atrocities without knowing it. But what we should focus on are the ones we can change. And we shouldn't be hyper obsessive about it in this way where if you hug your dog, then you're an evil person, because that's what the kind of things they're saying now, apparently. You can't even hug your dog.
No, I saw AJ commenting a moment ago, David is not a deontological absolutist, you toff. Veganism comes from a deontic stance. It's not the same as being a deontological absolutist. He is a deontological absolutist.
Deontic.
He's saying veganism is a deontic stance, like inherently. But
yeah, of course, David isn't. He exploits people.
Yeah, there you go. But
just say it.
Yeah, with regards to veganism, he does have some deontological absolutist crazy, in my mind, positions. Like, as far as I'm aware, I don't think David would take a skin cell scraping from one animal to save like 1 billion animals from being holocausted with lab-grown meat. Now, sorry, my wife's asking me to keep it a bit down. Yeah. All right, babe. Yep. Okay. We can have the debate about lab-grown meat, but just in this one example. I don't think if he was asked, would you take a skin sample of one animal to save 1 billion from being holocausted, I don't think he would. And that to me,
you could let it drop on the floor and then pick the skin sample up. It's like whatever. If you feel really bad about that, but still, yeah, it's like it's the whole use thing, isn't it? It's just like if you're just stroking an animal, or if you're shearing a sheep for their own benefit, then somehow, I don't know, it's like this weird thing, like somehow that's also using because you want to do that. And that's the whole thing I remember from being in that group. It's so you're not focused on what actually the victim's going through or what's the actual severity, right?
Yeah.
It's more so just and obviously there is things like punching someone in the face to, I don't know, help 50 people. I wouldn't do that.
No,
because it's like,
and to the person.
That's what it is. There's a level of like intuitive, I call it empathy or whatever. It's that, and I think that's important. And I think we're trained in society to go against that in many senses, and that's why people have to come up with all these moral philosophies, because to kind of give an alternate to what we're kind of taught, like, oh, it's okay for you to be beaten by a cane, with a cane. No, they used to do that with kids, didn't they, in school classrooms, because it makes your kids smarter or something. But obviously we come out of that and we realize it's wrong, and then we align them all with our, I would say, natural, I don't know if that's the right word to use, because someone could claim I'm in a naturalistic fallacy, but I don't know, what would you call that, George? Because I think that's what we're kind of appealing to here more so. Not emotions, just any emotions, but something, it's like kind of virtue ethics in a way, in a sense.
George, before you answer, mate, sorry to put an end. Obviously, you two carry on. I've been up since 4, so I'm kind of trying to get to the end, and I've got to crash out. So before you carry on, mate, obviously I'll leave you two to it. And thank you, George, for coming in and giving a few more viewpoints, because I think I could have got all night with the bits and bobs and the inside info and whatnot. So it was good to get another opinion and whatnot. So thank you, mate. And John, much respect, mate. Well done for doing what you've done and speaking out and changing your mind, because it's clearly not easy.
Well, Jake, I think you have, because you're the stream for the stream to be published, you actually have to end the stream, right? So I'll
come back up, lads. Yeah, you carry on, mate, and it's been great to chat, and I look forward to listening to the last part.
Cool. Yeah, nice speaking to you, Jake, and thanks for letting me on.
Thank you, John, and everyone else. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Cheers,
cool.
Jake.
Cheers, lads. Nice one.
Briefly explain again what it is that you mean, John.
So they're applying themselves to rigid principles, which I think, if anything, there is a lot of importance to that. But when it comes down to situations, there's something else we can work out. There's something within our characters or within our kind of natural sense that we can figure out what's right in a certain situation, wrong. But we're not always going to be perfect, but there is still something there. What would you call that? Would you call that sort like a something
moral
like
intuition?
Part of virtue ethics in a way, isn't it?
Yeah.
In a sense.
And I'm not someone who understands virtue ethics that well, so you might have to explain that to me in the audience. But yeah,
it's basically like that people. There's a kind of perception of it that most people have and how it's taught, and then there's my kind of idea of it. So the common perception of it is that, like, you take on certain virtuous character traits like empathy, justice, like wisdom, the 4 cardinal kind of virtues sort of thing, like wisdom, temperance, courage, and but they're the basic ones, and that is what makes things right. If you've got a good character, then therefore anything you do is right. But I think that's a misinterpretation of it. I think what was trying to be said is that if you've got a character that is good, that means you can figure out the good thing, and therefore good things do consequent from that. There still is good things outside of what's in your character, but what's in your character generally comes out in your actions, and that's kind of the that's my perspective, at least, on virtue ethics and how I understand it.
And what do you think is what would your theory be as to why they seem so hardcore against mentioning suffering or that animals feel pain or any of these things? What's your kind of leading theory behind that?
I might have already thought about this earlier. See if it's in my notes. Why do they care about it?
One thing you said might have been projection. Maybe some of them are sociopaths or something, and because they maybe feel no empathy for suffering themselves,
or they want to avoid their own sort of suffering. Like bad things that happened to them before, and talking about suffering can remind them of that, and they need to distance themselves from that. But also, I think there's a thing about connection. So when you start talking about suffering and empathy, it's way more easy for people to connect with a victim. So, and for them to do that, then you would have to connect with other people too who are going through pain and suffering. And if they're causing people pain and suffering, then therefore they would have to feel the guilt of that. That's the narcissistic element. But then other people who are kind of the flying monkeys or the puppets on the strings kind of thing, not to draw offense to those people. By the way, I'm not trying to do that. Just trying to make the best analogy as possible from what I saw when I was in there, what I experienced. It's, I think, could be that too, like the pain thing, but also just, I would say it's just driven by ultra obsessiveness of perfection, of really just the core belief in that group, which is driving it. There's not much to that. The kind of irrational thinking about it and not seeing it properly.
So I think one of the most disturbing comments I saw from one of the, I think it was Little Vegan Artist who made it, although I can't be sure, but I think it was them. Now, we have the debate all the time in the animal rights movement about wild animal suffering and to what extent humans should intervene, right? Like Humane Hancock's done a lot of good work.
Like in the wild, animals in the wild. And
right.
Yeah.
And there was a particularly horrific video that I think it was, it might have been Nothing Is Art that Instagram user shared. And it was like of a lion eating an animal alive. And it wasn't just that one of those ones you'd see on the nature documentary. It was particularly disturbing. Like the animal was having like their stomach eaten out and stuff and was crying and wailing very loudly. And it was a very slow and painful death.
God.
And loads of people were commenting about how horrific it was. And I think it was Little Vegan Artist. It was definitely one of the cross cult said just something like, what? Oh, Tinkerbell. Just said something like, what? All I see is a lion having lunch. What's wrong with that? Now,
I'm trying to make a point.
Yeah, but what was particularly disturbing, but it was like objectifying the victim, the one being eaten. It was like a form of seeing that animal as a resource, number one. So it was seeing the animal as food, which is what as vegans told not to do.
So they were being genuine in saying that they weren't joking.
Yeah, no, they were being genuine.
Seriously?
Yeah, and then
well, if that's true, that's messed up. That is.
And then and then just the complete lack of empathy for the suffering was obviously disturbing. And I think that's what's going on here, is that some of them just genuinely don't feel anything when they,
or maybe they feel too much and they just don't want to, because that's kind of the thing with me. It's like, people say watch this footage or whatever. For example, that halal kosher thing that Joey Carlson did. I didn't watch it, but I tried watching it. I couldn't even make it through because it's just too much to process that amount of. It just makes you feel sick and just absolutely horrible. So you want to shut off that. I think some people shut off their empathy because it's just too much to deal with it.
That's a very good. Yeah, there could be a bit of that. It could be some kind of
Definitely
like,
in AR groups, so definitely in AR groups,
Yeah.
because the amount of stuff we view and witness online and people who go and see it in person, that might actually be a reason why a lot of them quit. Maybe too. Maybe that's part of the theory, that they switch off their empathy because they're so traumatized. Then therefore they don't actually empathize with. I'm talking about the people who are real good activists, and then they all of a sudden go ex-vegan or whatever. So,
but yeah, I'd
Yeah.
better go now, John,
Yeah.
because Rachel's trying to get some sleep and I'm up yapping. But very good to talk to you, mate, and thanks for coming on. And yeah, hope everyone enjoyed the stream.
Yeah, I'll head off as well because I basically said everything. But yeah, I would actually say people, you had a video out recently with was it Samaran?
Yeah.
Samaran, to watch that, because what he says is very interesting too. I was going to speak about that thing specifically, about using the word vegan, and I think that could disarm in a way. Not that we should do it to disarm the Leslie Cross gang, but that it actually makes sense. What we need to think about the language, and I think what we can learn from this group of people is that maybe there are ways we're using language that is actually a detriment, but in ways they're not thinking about. You know, I think maybe it could act as a euphemism sometimes the word, instead of saying what it is, disconnecting people from. So yeah, watch that interview with Samaran, and if you're more interested in that. And yeah, Jake, are you back or
Are you still on? I was going to just ask you, mate, what
George
are
has
you
got
ready
head
to
off.
finish up? I was going to say, what advice would you give, mate?
I've got to go, guys. I'll catch you later. Cheers.
George, cheers, mate. Thanks very much. Yeah, before you go, mate, and like I said, legend for doing it and talking and that, what advice would you give to someone who has been affected by these people? Because people are, you know, and they've really had the confidence knocked and they're doing great things. What would you say to someone who, you know, has been affected by it?
Don't be quiet about it. Don't be afraid of them. Don't kind of not go against, but call it out and talk about it with other activists, because it needs to be spoken about more. But I'd say a lot of them are just confused. So having empathy and trying to understand what they might be going through, what the confusion they might be going through, could probably help them see that you're being affected too. And the thing I spoke about earlier, where they might not connect because it's online, it's hard to connect with people emotionally. So talking about that kind of thing with them might bring it up for them, so they have to think about you being affected more. But also that these people block a lot, and we block them too. So that creates more of a cult dynamic for them, because it's based on isolation. So the more they're isolated from everyone else and what everyone else is saying, the more they're in their echo chamber. So maybe in certain scenarios where the person isn't awful, that it might be more of a detriment to block them than to try and connect them with the rest of the vegan or the animal rights community, because of that disconnect. So yeah, and I don't know what else to say on that.
Yeah, mate. I think
just have an empathy for future, but that doesn't justify bad things. It doesn't justify mistreatment of others.
I do believe that
understanding.
People can't change their spots, and some people you can't reason with.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't, you know, people deserve second chances or whatever. Or you know, people have disagreements, and I do recommend, you know, making up and calling amends and whatnot in most situations. But when it comes to this mob, in my experience, I genuinely cannot deal with this type of person.
Yeah,
so,
I would say that the majority of them, yeah, but some of them, if there's a chance,
drop emails to the people who've been blocked. Drop emails to the people who you believe you could have a genuine conversation with, because
I know some people there are generally nice people.
Yeah, most of it, I cannot believe what I've come across, and from experience, life experience, I can't see any way to get through to that majority, you know. But sorry for disagreeing, mate. I needed the toilet, and I popped back just to thank you, mate, basically, and yeah, say legend, well done.
So I wanted to let people know like what it's like for them, or at least for people in there who are normal, who aren't like narcissists or whatever, part of the dark triad, because I think misunderstandings can cause more divide and conquer sort of thing, and some certain people thrive off of that. And yeah, but in the case of, like you just said, Jake, I can really hear myself echoing. Is that?
No, you're
It's
good.
kind of annoying. No, I mean I can hear myself like echoing. I think, I don't know if you've got headphones.
No.
Sorry,
you're
it's
good.
just distracting me. It's all right. So
Yeah.
it doesn't mean give them free pass to do whatever they want. It's just how else are we supposed to get out of this situation? I don't know how to think of anything else other than trying to let them know that they can speak to us too, and they don't have to just be isolated in this group. And if some of them are open to honest conversations, don't just overgeneralize the entire group, because some of them may be, and that might spread inside the group they're in more. What kind of conversation you've had with them, and could influence some of them to get out of that group and stop doing the bullying and stuff. So I don't know. Trying to think of this from all angles, even though there's the obvious bullies and then the victims. But yeah, what can you do?
Mate, quality
Can't
chat,
please
mate.
everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you for changing your ways, mate, and making it known, because it really is absolutely bonkers what I've come across the last few months, and some people have definitely, gained a lot from what you've said, and understood it a bit more, and now they can get on with their lives as they were trying to do, and doing good things.
Can I just say one more thing I think is important?
Yeah.
About the language, because I was going to actually speak about a lot, but we spoke about other things. The vegan word or whatever, we need to use words that the masses understand, and how to use them is the wisest way to use them, because you've got 99% vegan means diet, and you've got 1% of us who think it's something else. Then when we speak to the rest of the world, I'm talking about, so might as well use the wisest thing.
John, sorry, mate. Everything you just said was
About it,
wonky for me.
'cause that's how.
I don't know about
It's
anyone
cut
else,
out.
but
Of course, on the part what's the most important, probably.
yeah. I don't know if that
So
will
what
come
I'm
through for
saying is
everyone else. Try again.
that basically just look at how language works, linguistics. It's not someone's telling you a definition that you go by, it's how people are using it, and then they write the definition based on that. So if people are using the word vegan to mean a diet excluding, I know this sounds controversial, but I think it's the wisest thing to do for us to use it more in context. So I'm speaking to the public. Obviously, in our in-group, we know what the word means to us, but to them, they think it's a diet. So we're best off just, when we're talking about animal rights, I think, talk about animal rights, and when we're talking about vegan, what they think is a diet, and telling them, oh, veganism actually means this, ain't going to change all those times I've heard it means something different just on the spot. So what's more efficient, I think, is to just, it's not saying appeal to the masses, do what they say, but with language, that is how it works. So yeah, that kind of is debunking the Leslie Cross gang and what they're trying to do, which is prescribe language to people.
For me, John, I don't know about yourself, but I think that, how can I put it? There's a audience for every angle. So explaining to someone, the Leslie definition might be, good for someone who is a pescatarian or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Who think that it's, the aggressive approach might be good for people who need to be told what to do, or something like that. Or every single method and every single approach has got its audience, which is why when you speak to people, they've all got different reasons and different experiences.
So that's
which led to them changing. So
that's meaning, isn't it? That's what you're speaking about, rather than just like what you're calling it. So yeah, of course that would be the case. Like you want to adapt to people.
Thank you for the $5, Rene.
Talk about it in different ways. And but yeah, I just think just the word itself, because they're so obsessed about the word vegan.
Yeah, it's making
it's
me
actually
sick,
the opposite.
Mate. It's making me sick, and
it's
I
the
wish
opposite of what they're saying.
I hope it just disappeared. You know what I mean? I hope that it phases out, mate. I do, because it actually
Yeah,
makes me
I
sick
think
now
it will.
because,
I think more people are realizing like we need to talk about meaning, what we're about, rather than what we call it. Yeah, names are important, but like if I imagine the people in the past who were against do you think they really need to call themselves some weird word? Because it is a weird word, isn't it? Vegetable. To then do things, to then communicate. Like if there's 50 people in a village are against wife beating, because most of the other village are doing it, all they're going to talk about is why it's wrong to each other, and then they get gang together and try and do something about it. They don't need to call themselves the anti whatevers.
yeah.
They can just do it and communicate to
simple.
others the logic behind why it's wrong and everything. And I think that's what's important, the internal understanding, rather than what that's called, because that sits with you long. Like you said, Jake, you didn't even understand what it meant, vegan, or whatever, we think it means based on the vegan society definitions and whatnot.
When you wake up, don't you? You don't wake
they're
up
not an
because
authority.
someone says a sentence, you know.
Yeah, no, they're not an authority either. They can't just tell people how to use it, because people are going to use it. How are they going to use it? And yeah, I didn't know the meaning of it before, but I still had it internally. So we need to communicate the meaning rather. Whatever words we use, it doesn't matter as long as the meaning is communicated. That's my point.
Quality
So
words, John. Thank you.
there.
And like I said, mate, thanks a lot for doing it. And I'm sure people have took a lot from it. Thank you.
Yeah, sound. Thanks for platforming me and getting me to try and talk to these people. And
Very
people
interesting stuff, mate. Like I said, like George said, man, you put it in a way that everyone was waiting for. Do you know what I mean? I've tried to put it into words like that myself, and I didn't quite get there. But you've actually smashed it to pieces. So
yeah, hopefully I did it justice. Hopefully I did it okay.
Oh, the leader's here. I thought he'd be somewhere. Is that his first one? Is he?
Just now,
Welcome,
or
yeah.
for the whole thing?
Enter David.
He's only just entered.
But yeah, cheers, John. Anyway, and thank you everyone for the comments. And just remember, if you're hard at work, keep going, and don't let people deter you, because, as John has said, there's reasons why these things happen. And
Yeah, and I think just understand why they're doing things. It's because they're struggling with things themselves, a lot of them, and some of them may actually be actively trying to cause harm. I think a lot of them just don't even understand they're doing it. Like I said loads of times throughout this. So it's not. I don't think a lot of it's personal. So don't take it personal. Yeah. It's just problematic and harmful. But yeah,
we need to set up some meditation sessions.
Don't listen to people who wouldn't want to be.
Inner work. No. We need some inner work. Stop projecting, man. And yeah.
And that's what I'd say to people in that group as well. Like, if you couldn't see your friends, see yourself being friends with these people in the group, then why are you heavily associated when you listen to everything they're saying? Because if you're that repulsed by them and you're ignoring it, then why would you want to be around them and get influenced by them? Yeah, that's what I say. If you're trying to leave that group and struggling to kind of realize what it is for what it is. So anyway, yeah.
Nice one. Well done, John, and much respect, mate. And thank you, Rennie, for the donation, man. Let's read what he said, obviously. I am not speaking for even a lot of people, but I'm a utilitarian first. Logically against speciesism, because all animals... Oh, I can put that on the thing. Because all animals are conscious and it aligns with veganism. They lose me when they say animals killing each other is moral and therefore discriminates humans.
Animals is... so they're against something called sentientism as well, like... So that's basically what utilitarian brings up, isn't how we shouldn't do things because of pain and suffering and sentience. So yeah, I get what you're saying. It's I didn't even know they said killing each other, animals killing each other was moral. Yeah, that's really weird. That's really strange.
Yeah, I'll try to stay out of them waters, you see, because I just believe that there's more, that there's more important things, and I try not to go down, even though I have with this lot, I've gone down them paths, and it doesn't solve anything, basically. You know what I mean? The only thing that solves this issue is changing the minds, and that's why I do not care for the words.
Yeah.
The definitions evolve, people evolve, the world evolves, it changes, and the only thing I care about is changing minds, and that's all I ever will care about. So
You got to speak people's language, whatever they are, wherever they come from in the world, whatever specific groups, you've got to use that language, or else you're never going to get through to them properly.
yeah, mate, end it there then, and thank you very much, mate. Take it easy, and thank you to everyone.
Yeah,
and
take care,
Brendan,
Jake.
mate, much appreciated, legend of the game.
Sound.
And that is all. Take it
Cool.
easy,
Thanks,
John,
everyone,
and
for
speak very
coming.
soon, mate.
Yeah, see ya.
Cheers, mate. Nice one. See you later, everyone. Good night. Nice one, Kevin, Martin, Kevin, or MK, as I usually call you. Jake C. Sand. All the disciples, thank you too. You've helped support. And Sabi and Annie and all the rest. If you want to carry on rowing, I shall leave it. If you want me to, I shall. Better not. I better get to bed. Absolutely shattered. Nice one. Take it easy. Good night. Thank you very much. It's 2026. End the animal fetish.